Hello and welcome back to the Legend of Podcast Trails Through Trails, the podcast where we play through the long-running Trails series, chapter by chapter, game by game. This week, again, actually, chapter by chapter. Second chapter is really making it possible for us to do a second chapter in one go. Haha. I'm Matt, and I'm one of your hosts. I use he, him pronouns.
And I'm Lex, your other host, and I use she, her pronouns.
And this week we're doing a whole dang chapter again. It's pretty packed, this one, I guess.
It's pretty packed.
It's got some revelatory events, but it's not a lot of them. It's just big ones.
Big ones, yeah. And some big conversations happen. It's a really good one. It's a really, really good chapter.
I can see why you said this is one of your favorites, for sure. And there's much to talk about. But before we do that, let's warm up talking about muscles. How are you doing, Lex?
I'm doing all right. I have finally finished the main story and most of the post-credit stuff for Hades 2.
Nice.
And then right after I did that, they made a big patch changing a lot of story stuff in the ending, so I'll have to see what that is. There was some backlash against some of the stuff in the ending.
Oh, okay.
I agreed with some of it. I won't get into it. I wasn't as upset as some people were, but I thought the criticisms were correct. I just wasn't as upset. It's more changing conversations in the lead up to the ending rather than.
Yeah.
I think there was something that happened that a lot of people felt should have gone down differently, and so it seems like they've added more conversations and changed. I'm trying not to spoil anything.
Okay.
It's not like it ends in a totally different way, but more how that ending happens is approached differently, I guess, from what I understand. I haven't played it all yet, though, so I'm just going off of, like, screenshots I've seen.
Okay.
Curious to see that. The game, it's still such a blast. I couldn't seem to stop doing runs of it, even though, like, I had this game to play and also, like, work and life and needed sleep.
I guess.
In other news in my life, though, the Blue Jays are in the World Series, and for those of you who don't know sports, that means, that our baseball team is playing the final series of baseball because it's like best of 7 games. So it's in the finals against the LA Dodgers. And by the time this episode goes up, we'll know, I think, how that's going.
Hooray, sports!
But right now, we've had one game and we won the one game. And we're very excited. The entire country of Canada is extremely excited. So it's called the World Series. It's just the United States and Toronto. It's not the world.
Okay.
It's just the U.S. being the U.S. Okay, apparently it's because it was originally started by, like, the New York World newspaper or something. I don't know. In the old ancient times of, like, the 30s or something. I don't know. So that's where the term world comes from. But yeah, it shouldn't be called the World Series, but it is. But all of Canada is feeling very excited that we haven't been in here since before I was born. We haven't made it, so we're very excited.
Oh, okay, it's one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Very exciting. I am happy for your sports achievements, Canada. Well done.
I don't even really follow it. Like, I find baseball boring to watch, but we're just really excited. Like, everywhere you go, everyone is wearing, like, Blue Jays t-shirts. People are, like, every bar you pass has, like, special drinks that are colored blue for the Blue Jays. Like, the whole city is decked out for it. Like, you can just, downtown, when it happens, you just open a window and, like, you're deafened by the cheering. And, like, every time there's a game night, like, it's very infectious. It is exciting. So go Jays.
Go Jays. Well, I recently had a public holiday day off here in Melbourne for the Australian football grand final.
That's right.
Victoria is the only state that gets that public holiday for some reason. They're just really into footy, I guess. I'm not, so I just get a day off. And that's the achievement I need.
I love that for you specifically.
I do remember because I was part of a military family, so we moved interstate about every 2 years for most of my childhood. And this is like ICQ days, or even pre-ICQ when I was really young. So keeping in touch with someone interstate, another child, was not a thing.
Yeah.
So we never had the sports team loyalty and also just didn't care about sports as a family. When we arrived in Victoria when I was, 9 or something, they had a day at school, I think it was probably for the grand final. It was like, wear your team colors and everyone has to do it. And I didn't have a sports team. So I was like, man, I don't know. The Cats, I like cats. There's a team called the Geelong Cats. And as that one. And then, I don't know, there was they're a bad team and everyone was mad about it. I was like, Jesus Christ, I don't know. I'm 9.
Yeah.
I did research the sports teams a little bit, only so that I could find a color combination that did not match any of the teams and wear that to school.
Huh. I love that. That's excellent.
I think it was like brown and red and something else, like
Great.
green. Just a truly horrible ensemble to look at. But I was like, I'm not giving in to your sportriarchy. As
you should.
But yes, that was a lovely day off that I got, and I was happy about. As far as things going on over this side of the world, it was real windy the other day. That was it.
It's been cold here too.
Just like insanely gale force winds. I saw people getting like knocked over. Our CBD, our Central Business District, is very grid based. So when the wind hits at the right angle, it's just a wind tunnel.
Ooh. See, I still hear gale force winds, and even though I live in a place with intense weather, I still think Fire Emblem every time I hear gale force. That's how Fire Emblem pilled I am. Even though I live in a place that gets gale force winds, but I still think Fire Emblem.
It cuts deep, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was walking home from work that day, and I felt like the mime doing the walking into the wind bit to a certain extent. I was like, man, all right.
Oh boy.
Other than that, it's been mostly cold here, so I've, surprise, surprise, been inside playing video games. At time of posting, yes, I can say this, my review for The Outer Worlds 2 has now been up for about a week at this point, I suppose.
Okay.
I reviewed that for Survivor. I had a wonderful time playing it. If you have a way to play that aligns with your personal ethics, because it is a Microsoft product, please do. It's a wonderful game. I find it challenging to kind of dance the line there a little bit. It's like, I want to give big ups to the makers of this game. It's a fantastic game. And
also
at the same time,
but also fuck Microsoft. Yeah.
Fuck Microsoft. It's the BDS boycott is a big thing. So, I received the code for free from the publisher. That is how reviews typically work. I did not spend money on this. I don't have a Game Pass, subscription. Yeah. So yes, it was nice to kind of find, to an extent, an ethical loophole to enjoy that game. It is very good. If you can find your way to it, play it. I'll link my review in the show notes. I've also got another review in the pipeline that... figuring out my timeline. No, I can't say it. So, at time of recording and time of this episode going up, I can't quite say what the new game I'm reviewing is. It's a Switch title.
Switch 2 title?
Yeah, so the review will be going live about 2 days after this episode, so keep an eye out for that if you like. I haven't actually got the game itself yet, so I can't speak even sort of opaquely about what it is, but I'm looking forward to playing it and telling you guys what I think about it. In between that, I've been playing a lot of other games. No reason that I can officially announce at this point, but it's coming to the end of the year, and you've got to think about the games and which ones you would award your greatest praise to.
Yeah.
So I've been researching all of the games of this past year that I could award my positive reinforcement to. Yeah, so I've got another review in the pipeline, and I don't know that there's any more room left in the year for more reviews after that, but there probably will be, because
I'm sure there will be.
This year is stacked.
It really is, my god.
Now I'm actually curious to see my little list and see what games are coming up for the rest of the year, because at time of recording, actually no, at the time that this episode will have gone up, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D will be out.
Oh my god, that's right.
And I will be playing that, because that's this coming Friday for us.
Demon School's full release is coming.
Oh, yes, of course. There are many games that I want to review. But in a perfect world, I will be so busy for the remainder of the year. I would be reviewing Metroid Prime 4, Octopath Traveler 0, Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined, Yakuza Kiwami 3, and then... Oh no, Yakuza Kiwami's in February, so that's fine. So just those other ones I want to really drive myself crazy reviewing.
And Demon School, if you get a Switch code for it.
Oh yeah.
I was just looking at other upcoming games to see if there's anything else that jumped out at me, and I feel like there's still games that I've bought that I haven't had the chance to play yet. Like there was a new Atelier game that I haven't played yet, but I own.
Yumiya?
Oh, there's a new Barbie horse game that just came out. Huh.
Oh wow.
That's my childhood there.
Stop the presses. Let's go play.
I don't know if it's shovelware or good shit, but look, I learned video games from a Barbie secret agent, so they have a space in my heart. That's why I know what level design and boss fight mean, from being in 3rd grade and playing Barbie secret agent on my dad's PC. You used fashion to be a secret agent, and your final outfit, it was about this outfit that made you invisible, invisible fabric that someone was trying to steal. And you would travel different parts of the world and do puzzle solving, and then also do platforming stuff, and you got different Barbie outfits that gave you different I think it gave you like different abilities in the platforming stuff.
Mm.
It's like a cool idea, but I don't think it would probably hold up as maybe I should submit that to Video Game Podtimism as like games of yesteryear.
Yes. I remember we had like a modded PS1 when I was little, because, again, military family. At that time, my dad and other people from his sort of division would travel to an Air Force base in Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
And so they would just go down to the corner markets and spend $20 and just get a fistful of pirated games, which was
Amazing.
fantastic. Such a grab bag. That's how I got Final Fantasy VII. It's also how we got Barbie Horse Adventures.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I've been playing a lot of video games, and this video game, and I've almost finished First Chapter Remake. Almost. I'm about to go to the Royal Villa, and I'm rounding the corner on that. I'm very excited.
I'm still in chapter 1 of it. I have not gotten that much gaming time other than Hades 2, which has been too much. It actually, I think, is winning. It might win Video Game Soundtrack of the Year for me, which I know is a big thing to say because Expedition 33 was this year. And I think it's going to be really a matter of taste because they're both so good. But some of the tracks in the surface part, they're like, it's like a full orchestra where every instrument, like some weird and interesting instruments are all have different like dialogue with each other kind of thing. And like all have like their moment in the sun. And then the theremin comes in because that's always in like that weird ass instrument that's like prog rock Halloween Mediterranean sound that they've got going on. It's like, and I'm a classical music nerd. I love a big orchestra. So anything with a huge orchestra is going to like get me like a little like, ooh. So the Game Awards are a very flawed program in a lot of ways, but that orchestra fucks, and this year's orchestra is going to fuck.
Something to look forward to. I mean, yeah, I loved the Expedition 33 soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a couple of the tracks that I like listening to. Specifically, the one when you fight Dad, and it's like the competing feminine vocalist, and then like the screamo French dude.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I love him. Yeah, it's great. I just want to hear him screaming on the TGA stage.
I'm still mad that they didn't get the monk from Metaphor to do the monk battle rap. That's such a travesty that he wasn't up there.
Such a lost opportunity.
Truly. All right, we have a different game to talk about, though.
Yeah, we need to talk about the other game.
Are there any other games you wanted to highlight in this pre-segment, or should we get to the main event?
I mean, I've been kind of all over the place just sampling lately, for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
My most recent game that I'm playing that I'm honestly having a much better time with than I expected to, Doom: The Dark Ages. I was never that much of an FPS person as a kid, but man, Doom's fun, and they've really like nailed the formula here. You just run around, you blow things up. The best big thing about Doom Guy is all of the just like objects scattered in the world, like crates and desks and all that kind of stuff. None of them offer any resistance to him. You can just walk straight through them and they smash. It's amazing. Yeah, so I'm just having fun being Doom Guy and smashing lots of things, and it's like such a hardcore rock, like metal soundtrack. Very different to Trails in the Sky second chapter, so it's nice to have a bit of a palate cleanser with the blood and gore of heaven and hell waging war. I really don't know what's going on in the game. They don't explain anything. It's medieval, but also space? I don't know.
I guess space must have Middle Ages.
I'm sure you can find some workaround when you decide having a shield and dragons would be sick, and then you just kind of make it work.
It's true.
And you know what else has dragons and shields? Trails in the Sky second chapter.
Yeah.
Woo! They also have a hell. Don't know about heaven.
Woo!
But yes, would you like to start talking about the main event, the big video game, the chapter 6 of the second chapter?
Let's do it. And what a main event it is.
We're good to go.
So we have side quests, because of course we fucking do.
Mm-hmm.
There was one of them was a really good side quest.
Yeah, it's our usual sort of like clean up at the end of the chapter before we move on to the next major location.
But first, before we side quest, we get a little chat.
Yes, we get a little meanwhile scene, which has been kind of a trend for a couple of chapters starting this time.
Yes.
We cut to emo LiveJournal boy Joshua Stray on the Bobcat, where he is...
Well, we cut to Josette looking for him, because he is on the other side, hiding in the shadows from where she is.
Yeah, on the very unsafe to hang out on deck of the Bobcat, mid-flight.
Well, they have that weird gravity force field thing, I guess. I don't know. Still seems dangerous. It's going real fast. Then again, look at the way Josette, like, rides around on the feet of that thing while it's in flight. This is, like, a big step up in terms of safety. It's a real low bar.
I was a little disappointed to not have her do that again at a moment later in the chapter. It felt really appropriate, but...
Me too! It would have been great. Maybe in the remake they'll do that. But Joshua explains, I can feel the wind and see the moon better from this vantage point. And Josette calls him out for being an edgelord.
Mm-hmm.
For trying to act cool. And then she's like, but I guess that kind of stuff is important for, like, assassin stuff. Like, your thing. And they talk a bit about that. And he's like, yes, I want my chance of failure to be as low as possible. And Josette's like, don't just get a chance of failure. You're talking about dying. Which is a good point. She's like, don't be like, chance of failure and try to sound cool. You're talking about dying. Don't act chill about it.
The edgelord thing is starting to wear a little bit on everyone, but it's nice that Josette especially is calling him out on it, and she's just like, oh, you're being so mysterious, woo.
Yeah, this chapter really makes it clear that the fact that the edgelord thing is a little much is on purpose, and everyone around them knows.
Yeah, it's...
Joshua says, if I succeed, it's more dangerous than if I fail, or something like that. And we get a little interesting bit where Josette is like, so why are you even bothering with all this? Like, you don't owe anything to this country. You're Erebonian like us. Why don't you just leave this country to, like, whatever the society wants to do? And Joshua kind of doesn't respond. And she's like, you could just leave and, like, come with us. Like, we're going to skip town soon. And, we're thinking maybe stop being bandits and become, like, a real shipping company, like an air transport cargo company. And he's like, that's a good idea for you guys. And then he's like, well, if I survive, and successfully take down the society, then I'll consider joining you. And then he's like, and don't worry, by the way, after this, I consider your debt repaid. It will be even between us. And Josette gets really upset.
Yeah.
She's like, what the fuck? And I understand why he's like, by the way, our debt is repaid.
He's fully and purposely missing the point of the conversation because he wants to shut down this line of inquiry because he's far too busy brooding to build relationships.
And he's got his little death wish of, like, not necessarily intending to survive. And Josette storms off. She's like, no one was talking about deaths or anything. She storms off, and Kyle appears from the little, like, cockpit, whatever it's called, thing, and is like, ooh, way to play dumb. He's basically calls him out for playing dumb. Josh was like, I'm sorry, Josette, to her, like, after she's left the room. And Kyle's like, well, you are welcome to join us if you don't go back to Estelle. And Josh was like, yeah, going back to Estelle will never happen. The worlds we live in are too different, and it's for the best if we never meet again.
Yeah, Josh.
And then some sounds suddenly come. I thought it sounded like gunfire, but then nobody acts like it was gunfire, so I'm not sure. We're in control of Joshua. We have to go to the bridge. And we're in control of Joshua for about 2 seconds that it takes to get to the bridge.
Yeah, I don't know why they bothered.
It's a little strange that they gave us, I guess, so we could save, maybe, because it was like...
Yeah, and I did do that, because I stopped here when I finished playing Chapter 5 originally. But you can sort of run up and down the ship, but there's not really much to do. Everyone just kind of says, like, filler text. So we head up to the bridge, where Josh asks for a sit rep. He goes full commander mode, and they check the monitor. I like that everyone has, like, plasma screens in their airships now. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And we get some more metric unit conversion talk. They say that there's something at an altitude of 1560 arg, so that's 1560 meters, and it's coming from the northeast at 2100 Selgay an hour, which is 2100 meters, so 210 kilometers an hour. Usually I fill in my notes, but I just had like a do the math here note for myself, which is really inconsiderate. But it is 210 kilometers an hour, so it's pretty fast, but it's not bird fast.
We don't need Chloe to come translate it. But yeah, there's a big red airship. Not big, like not huge, but like bigger than the Bobcat, entering the Burl airspace. And this is just as Joshua predicted. And he's like, there's our target.
They also mentioned that he provided them with some sort of special radar that can detect this, that they never go into further detail about.
Yeah, I don't even know if he provided it or if it's like he rigged their radar to be stronger or something. Like, it's very unclear if it's like something that he built or something that he got from somewhere, like, or if they're just talking about like he has a sixth sense. Like he can smell the movements of the society. I don't know.
Who knows with this kid?
Who even knows? But as Joshua heads out, he's like, I'm ready to proceed with the operation as soon as I'm in place or everything's in place. And then he says, thank you for everything. Goodbye to everyone. Yeah. And then just walks out. And all the captains are like, what? And Josette runs after him.
I will say one thing I did like about this scene. It's the first of many in this chapter of cool, dynamic, like, camera work. in this
Yes.
pretty basic geometry game. They have this cool, like, down the scope shot where they show the airship sort of in the periscope of the ship or whatever.
Yeah.
I did laugh because this is also the first of many of these action scenes where it was clearly designed for a 4:3 ratio screen, and then they adapted it to widescreen for this and didn't fix everything, because the periscope is this clearly square-shaped decal over the top of the screen with just the edges of the sky on the side anyway.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then whenever airships are going fast, you have, like, the bottom half of the screen is, like, clouds moving in motion, and then a still image of clouds, and the, like, top half. But it is quite funny. But it works to communicate the story.
I understand. It's like, you didn't do much of a quality pass on this port if you didn't check for this kind of stuff. I'm fine with it. Like, I love this kind of jank. It lets you see under the hood a little bit. There's another one later on that I really like where it's small airships flying past a big airship, and it's only because of the screen expansion that you can see that they fly directly through one of its wings. Just immediately off the edge of that 4:3 screen ratio.
See, I either didn't notice that, or my ratio on my Steam Deck, that's not an issue. I don't know.
Maybe that's it. Playing on my little laptop projected onto my big TV, which is then sort of like letterbox a little bit anyway, I was just like, hey, jank, I love it. But in any case, the other janky thing is Joshua's sign-off, so Gisette runs after him to sort of call his bullshit once again.
And it says, you have to promise not to do anything too crazy. Like, you can't just say that, like, you're never going to see us again or going to go die or whatever. And she gives him a hug from behind, which is an interesting parallel, like, scene parallel bookending thing to the end of the chapter.
Yes.
Basically, Josh was like, this is going to be so dangerous. I can't promise my success. I promise to come back alive and thank you again in person alive after this. So that's enough for Gisette for now. And then we get this action scene of Joshua jumping off of the bod path while it's going super fast and grappling hooking onto this red airship and getting on it.
It's pretty sick.
It's pretty sick. Just him jumping into the middle of the sky. It kind of looks like Wile E. Coyote going off the edge of a cliff.
Yeah. Man, this scene is so cool because, again, they're doing all these action shots. Yeah, like you said, you have the fast-moving cloudscape underneath as the floor of the scene, and then the static image of the sky in the background as the sky. But they're doing cool stuff with, like,
they are
warped camera angles and stuff to kind of, like, the field of view stuff you get in, like, a shooter when you fiddle around with the settings to kind of give that sensation of speed as the ships chase each other. And there's a lot of dynamic camera angles. And the thing is, like, all of it is just two static models getting just sort of motion tweened around an empty skybox, but it looks sick as hell.
It's awesome. I love this game. And then once Joshua has safely made it there, the captain's like, yes, he did it. It's all good. And we get the title card for the chapter. The Whereabouts of Bonds.
That sounds familiar. We also get our first look just before the title card inside the Red Society ship with these crimson soldiers in another new kind of armor.
Oh, yeah.
I really like this armor, actually. It's so shiny and red. It's still got the fringe on the back of the helmets, kind of like a Legionnaire's cap. You don't want to get sunburn on the back of your neck when you're being a nationalist misogynist, I guess.
I guess not.
Yeah. They had time for a costume change. They're just identified as Crimson Soldiers at this point, but we get a little more info on them later on.
Yes, and they notice the bobcat, but they decide not to pursue it because it's not the Royal Army, it's just some small fry. And they have places to be.
That's not our mission objective. They can't really impact us, but we should let Sir Campanella know about the bandits. Sir Campanella. But we get our title card, and then it's time to cut to the guild.
Yes, and it's time for side questing. Basically, we find out from Lugren that Maybell has bought us like a pass for a few days at the Kingfisher Inn because we need to take a break. There's nothing we can really do about the society right now, and things are clearly about to kick into high gear, so we should rest and recover. Estelle at first is like, no, we shouldn't, we have stuff to do, but then comes around.
Yeah, we also have an interesting roundup because we've got the whole party here along with Old Man Lugren. Don't drop the old man.
Oh, yes.
But they sort of go over, clearly as the scene starts, like Agate's just finished updating them on running into Loewe at the gravestone in Ravenou Village.
Yes.
And they're all like, what a fucking baller move from Loewe to just like walk up and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Which, yes, it is. But in this conversation, Lugren does recognize the name Hamel as well.
But he doesn't remember why.
He's like, why is that causing an itch in the back of my skull? But because we have such a wide cross-section of people here, we sort of do a roundup. It was like, who knows what about Hamel?
Yeah, which is cool.
Olivier, as an Erebonian, knows that it's a village in the southmost reaches of the Empire, near the border with Loewe. And he's like, I say was. You will find it on no map of the Empire today, because it was demolished by a landslide. A landslide.
Yeah, a landslide.
Which a number of residents died in, but no one really knows for sure.
And then he corrects himself that by number of residents, he means almost all of the residents, and basically no one knows anyone who lives in Howell because there's like basically no survivors.
Olivia's got that. Chloe doesn't know, but she reckons her grandma would probably be clued in, but because she's still a kid, she's not going to share state secrets with her.
But we're all like, what does it have to do with the Queen? Like, why would it have to do with the Queen or General Morgan? Like, why is that something he's even going to bring up? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's not a lot of information around this Hummel town, so we'll have to wait and learn some more. So then at that point, Lugren just says, go get some rest, bitches, and tells us that we've been running nonstop for 5 chapters. We need to take a break, and everyone's kind of arcing up about it.
Work-life balance.
And then, yes, I believe it's Estelle introduces work-life balance.
It's Jin, I think.
Big reasonable Jin.
And Olivier calls him a sage and a gentleman for coming up with this idea of work-life balance, which is accurate. Everyone should be telling Jin that he's a sage and a gentleman.
So, yeah, we can relax for a minute because before we stopped in, we apparently had a chat with Dad. So he's got the army on sort of patrol, just doing laps around the country, same as they did when we were trying to track down the dragon, just so that we can get eyes on the situation if anything does come up. And also, Kurt and co, he says they found it. And at this point, I know we love to use a non-specific noun reference in this game, but I did just watch both Pennywise movies recently. So when they said Kurt and friends found it, I was like, oh God, no. I like those guys. Don't kill them.
And they went down the sewers with a red balloon.
Well, we've been in enough sewers. It's not out of the question. But yes, for now, we've got our 3-day pass to go stay at the Kingfisher Inn in Valeria Lake. So we pick our party. I took with me Jin, Chloe, and Shara at this point.
I took Jin, Chloe, and Agate, I think.
And the rest of them head off early to Valeria Lake to meet you when you're ready to kick into the big main mission. But I did immediately run to the Kingfisher Inn for a specific reason that my guide told me about.
So did I.
Because if you go straight to the inn, you can see that the other 3 party members are hanging out with a 4th at their table, Father Kevin, who's just shown up. He's like, just chilling.
He's just chilling, as always. He's always conveniently there, just turning up.
Just happens to be in the right place at the right time over and over and over and over again.
So good at it.
But if you check in with him, you can see that they're just kind of like hanging out, exchanging information a little bit. And if you say, I'm not quite ready to do the main mission yet, you can reform your party to include Kevin. So he's back on the roster.
Yeah.
It's been, God, how long has it been?
He's like, yeah, in exchange for the fact that I keep showing up and inviting myself along, I'll come help you with your things. Yeah, I think we saw Kevin when the mist was happening.
That's right, yeah. So I reformed my party so that it was Estelle, Kevin, Jin, and Chloe, because I've been spending as much time with all of them recently. Chloe's kind of been my healer, but Kevin is good magic man as well, but also has that long-range shot. So I decided to bring him. But yeah, he also says they met him on the road. He was wandering around. This time he was investigating Amberl Tower because he's been checking all of them since the big Reverie fight last time.
Because like us, he cares about the doohickeys.
Yeah. I was busy with that during Dragon Time. Sorry. That's why he couldn't come help us with Ragnar.
Sorry. Which you'd think, given that this thing clearly has like connections to a religion of faith, that the church guy who's all about the ancient church stuff would be super into the ancient church dragon, but he was busy.
Yeah.
You know, you hate when work gets in the way of your favorite extracurriculars.
Yeah. So I just grabbed Kevin and then I ran back to Bose.
Me too.
Because we've got 3 quests to wrap up before we head on.
And a 4th will show itself.
Oh, yes. And a 4th hidden quest, can't forget. What sort of order did you do these in? Because I went in a really random order that was not at all efficient.
First of all, I did start with a quest. I went off to Nebel Valley to get a recipe.
Yes.
Because I was able to get a stew that killed Estelle. But luckily there was a bed there I could rest from that old man Welmer. The dark stew, yeah.
Last time it was Heaven and Hell soup, or Abandoned.
It's dark stew, and the first one I think was called like Abyssal Stew, but then in the remake it's Heaven and Hell Stew, something like that. Like it's slightly They keep changing what it's called. It's very silly of them.
It's kind of less like interesting and literary to call it Heaven and Hell Soup, but I sort of hope that they do so that when the second chapter remake comes out, then he can just give them just Hell Soup.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
And I can be sitting there as like, when do I get Heaven Soup? Because the Hell Soup is really fun. My guide recommended making a couple of them because it maxes out the CP of some party members and then can zero the HP or like bring everyone else down to 1 HP.
Yeah.
Which is challenging, but if you're about to go into a section later this chapter where you only have one party member, it can come in really handy for restocking your CP.
That's true.
But otherwise, yeah, you should drink it while you're at Wemler's house so you can immediately fall into his bed when it kills you. This man needs to get better at cooking.
Yeah, I think you have to like, he just gives it to you and you learn the recipe through mouth memorization, so thankfully they give it to you only when you have resources to deal with the death.
Thank you, Wemler.
But yeah, so that's where I went. I also went over to Hawken Gate to get a copy of a book chapter. Oh, and then I talked to this lady, Cecile and Bose, whose husband, Kuano, the fisherman, is missing. I went and found him at the Valyria Lake, and he was like, I would pawn off my wife to be able to fish. I went and tattled on his wife to him, and his wife gave me his favorite fishing rod.
Yeah, I love that. She's like, that bitch is fishing again, and here's his best rod. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and while I was at Hawken Gate, I ran into Lyndon, the researcher again, and he was very excited that the dragon did not get killed, and he got some pictures, which he's hoping he can use in his research.
Yeah, he's really happy that it got away, which I thought was nice. Yeah, I did the same thing, sort of little events and scattered throughout. But yes, then the merchant escort is... There's a lady who wants to go to Ravenu.
Yeah, Morano, who's a merchant that we've seen a lot. She's been an NPC in like all throughout FC. She was randomly there with her like worker, who was always like, this lady is super difficult to work for.
Yes, because she immediately says Estelle's too young to take this job, which Estelle does kind of like bump up against. She's like, I'm a senior bracer. I am qualified. And in my party, Jin
backs her up for me, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, she's capable. As he sort of stands 100 feet tall over this tiny woman. It's like, trust the small girl.
I love it because he could have easily been said and like, and I'm also a bracer, so you'll be safe. But instead he's like, if you won't trust Estelle, then you'll have to wait until another bracer becomes available. Like, I like that he doesn't throw Estelle under the bus, even if it might be easier, because, I mean, nobody's going to look at him and be like, you're probably not qualified to protect me. But he doesn't. He instead is like, no, trust Estelle.
Yeah, and I like that he sort of matches her tone because he's like, no, she's qualified. And instead of sort of drilling in on that point, he's like, you can put up or you can shut up. So do you want your job done or do you want to bitch and moan and not get to go to Ravenu? And she's like, well, I've been told, let's go.
Fair enough, yeah. She even says, I guess you can't judge a book by its cover. I always like putting my own covers on my books anyway, so I'll trust you, young lady, which I liked.
Such a weird flex to drop into a conversation. It's like, I used to make up book covers. Like, okay, Morano.
Good for you, Morano. Have fun.
Did that translate into your business career? I don't know.
Maybe it did.
But yeah, when you meet her at the West Gate out of Bose, she then adds like, oh, by the way, don't get any fights on the way there. It'll slow me down and I don't want to be in danger.
Which I do understand that if you want an escort to avoid monsters, you're hoping they avoid monsters.
Which would be tricky because the path between Bose and Ravenu, especially the one up to Ravenu's entrance, is very narrow and full of like sort of choke points where monsters can get you really easy. Unless you put on the haze quartz or the yin yang one, apparently, that I don't have.
Me either.
In which case they will be blocked from seeing you.
Soon, though. I think it's next chapter that I can get one, maybe.
Oh, that'll be just in time for my quartz guide to stop recommending I use it again, just like with the luck quartz, I bet.
Or to tell me I need 2.
That's one thing that I found this chapter. The quartz guide I was using recommended making a bunch of new of the level 4 quartz, including a bunch of action 4s.
Yeah.
And they are so expensive, and it is so hard to get time sepith.
Yeah, you gotta go and do Shining Palms. I had enough for it to do everything I needed, but yeah. It's because I got the time sepith from that side quest in Roland.
Yeah, I did not.
Yeah, without that, I can't imagine.
It's really bad. It's like the first time I've properly looked into the monster book in this game, rather than just seeing the list of how many things have filled out. Because I went through and checked, in the region of Bose, what monsters drop time sepith. And it's only a couple of them on the mountain path, mostly. And they drop like 4 or 5 sepith each. Even the Shining Palms are only 35.
Yeah, it's a pain.
And the action 4s that it wanted me to make 2 of, plus some other quartz that needed time, they are 500 time sepith each.
Yikes.
It's so expensive. I only got to 2 by the end of the chapter because someone joins your party later on and they bring one with them. So that was the only reason I could get there. Man, sepith is so sparse and quartz is so expensive. It's crazy.
The economy is whack.
Yeah. Then I got really paranoid at one point because I was so focused on fighting only the time sepith enemies, and then, you know, when you're choosing your spells in the arts menu, they list the number of sepith next to it.
Yes.
I had this moment of panic, was like, shit, have I just forgotten this entire game that this is a spending cost to cast this spell? Do I need to spend 10 time sepith to cast Soul Blur? And it's not that, but I was just like, I was so laser focused in on, you know, getting my 4 time sepith at a time. I'm like, I can't, that's 2.5 battles. I can't afford that, but it is not that, thank God. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I put on haze, which means the monsters just don't attack you. Still a little bit of a tricky path because it is so narrow and the enemies are still sort of wandering back and forth. I came very close to getting into a couple of battles, even with the haze quartz on, but eventually made it to the town where they do another pan across the decimated orchard, where it seems like all of the land has been sort of torn up and sort of...
Yeah, they've been doing some work.
What do you call it? Tilled, but there's no trees. It's just a big open space.
Yeah.
And she sort of gives it a look over and clarifies her position a bit. She's like, oh yeah, I wanted to come here because I heard about what happened with the orchard and I want to invest money in the town, but I need to check that it's a solid investment, that like work's already happening, that things are rebuilding, that I'm like spending money on a viable investment.
Yeah, it's interesting because you kind of get the impression that she's almost making an excuse. We're like, oh, you're being nice and trying to help out the town. And she's like, oh no, I'm not being nice. This is to invest. And it's like, it's unclear whether that's true or if she's trying to pretend that she's not being, like, if she doesn't want to seem soft.
Yeah. It is also nice that, like, this event has just happened. This is, like, the next day or something.
Yeah. I think last chapter a week took place, yeah.
But this businesswoman has decided to, on her own, go out and personally survey the damages to sort of proactively decide if she's going to invest. Because, yeah, like, something like this, an entire town's income decimated is...
Yeah, it's awful.
A high-priority situation. You got to solve it quick before the town collapses.
Yeah.
But she's just like, oh, yeah, like, it is bad, but they're working on it. I think this is probably a solid investment. Thanks for getting me here, and thanks for not letting me get attacked by any monsters. So she gives you, I think, some extra money.
She says that she'll contact the guild, so you get bonus money in your prize, I think, and bonus BP, of course.
Yes, the most important. But yeah, so that wraps up the merchant escort mission. While I was here, the next one that makes sense to do is the Ravenue Trail monster.
Yep.
Who's just north of Ravenue.
The Fate Spinner.
Yeah, these are the guys who can res the other grunt enemies.
Yes.
Because it's a weird fight where when you take down the generic enemies, they don't vanish, they just drop, so that the Fate Spinner can just go rah and get them all back up again, which had happened to me once because I was just mucking around trying to get used to Kevin's abilities, but it's not that hard a fight to begin with, so...
It was good because I got the spell called Death Scream on Estelle, which just massacres everything on the whole screen. It costs like 80 EP, but it kills everything. So
yeah, it's
an insta-kill, like 20% chance insta-kill, and it does a lot of damage even if it doesn't insta-kill. So I just spammed. I spent a lot of this chapter just spamming Death Scream. Just like, can I survive long enough to use Death Spam? Yes, then yes. I mean, Death Scream, yes.
I mean, Death Spam, yeah. This was the skill that the Quartz Guide was building me up to get, the Death Scream. And it's the one that I couldn't get because I didn't have the action 4s.
Oh, no.
I didn't get to experience Death Scream until much later in the chapter, but it is a fun spell. It's like a big demon guy drops out of the sky and just decimates the whole place. Some of these spell animations are getting cooler as we go later into the game.
Absolutely.
Like the ones that have obviously been added as they expand each sort of element. We're halfway through the game and still getting access to new, interesting spells.
Yes, it's fun.
The Revenue Trail monster, not that big of a deal. Bing, bong, bang. Kill it. And then, this is not the point where I went and did the nearby secret hidden quest.
Oh, this is where I did that.
I went off and did some other stuff and then I spent a lot of time running back in this chapter. But the one that made sense to do is to go up to Ravenue's abandoned mine and see what's going on.
Yep, and there's some Royal Army guys freaking out there. They're like, we need to call for backup, but they don't do it. And there's these metal monsters that have shown up that are really strong and use arts, but they're not arts. Mm-hmm. And it's too close to a civilian location. They don't know what to do. And we're like, well, it's fucked up that you can't deal with it yourself, but I guess we'll deal with it for you. Mm-hmm. So we have to go and wipe out all of these metal monsters. They're very clearly archaisms.
Yeah.
This is some sort of robot monster. Like, this is not an organic creature. But the Royal Army guys don't put together that this is not an organic creature.
We have machines, yeah. Yeah, so this is the new spell that I was thinking about. because these archaisms can cast a bunch of high-level spells, including Lost Mobius, which is the one I was thinking of.
Mine never got to do it. Mine never. I killed them all before any of the cast any spells. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
Skill issue.
What it must be to be an S-rank gamer.
To be a death screamer. That's all it really is.
The death scream, yeah, that makes sense, actually. I got to actually fight them, so I saw them cast Lost Mobius, which I don't think I've seen in the game before. It might be newly added in SC.
No, I don't think I haven't seen it. I mean, in this playthrough at least, yeah.
It's much more common in later games.
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't an FC. I'm almost positive it was not an FC at all.
Now, I also have to mention that during this mission is when I realized something very stupid.
Uh-oh.
Because they're talking about these machines and they confirm that they're archaisms. And you know, it's only just now that I realized that archaism is a portmanteau of archaic mechanism.
I didn't even put together the portmanteau part, but I knew it was from archaic, but I didn't think of mechanism.
It's an archaic mechanism.
Yeah, we're both stupid.
Oh my god.
We're both stupid. Matt, we're both stupid. I've played this game before and I forgot that.
I've played so many of these games and they've said that stupid fucking word so many times.
But I've played this one where they explain it and I didn't even put together where they put out the word archaic and I didn't put the word mechanism together.
Yeah, it's only because someone said the word archaic in the same conversation that I was like, oh, and then I had a moment of feeling incredibly smart followed by incredibly stupid. And that's what it is to be a Trails player.
At least we're both idiots together.
Oh, thank goodness for that. But also, just quietly, the dungeon has gotten bigger again. There's like extra rooms you can go into.
Yeah, off of the big room the dragon was in, there's extra rooms now.
Yeah, for the first time, we actually get to manually walk around that room because it's only ever been in cutscenes or fights before.
Yes.
But yeah, there's like extra side areas. There's like one extra chest, I think, a big fancy one. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, you just got to poke around all the corners, find all these little archaic mechanisms and smash them up.
Ooh.
As always, I'm very happy that when they do these kind of things, even though they don't have a counter or like map markers, they do explicitly tell me when I'm done because I would have just kept wandering around in circles.
Yes, thank God.
But yeah, after smashing all the archaisms, we head outside, let them know, and then the mission is done. Or is it? Because we fade to a little extra cutscene, which is not something we get often at the end of these little side quests.
No, we usually don't.
But one of the smashed archaisms is sitting at the end of a tunnel in the mine, and some of these Crimson soldiers come up, who are now referred to as enhanced Jaegers. And they talk about, cool, we ran the test on these machines, we got our data or whatever, and then one of the Jaegers walks up without a helmet, and he has blue hair.
A blue bob.
He's not facing the screen.
A blue fuck-ass bob.
He goes to call Estelle and friends brats and cuts himself off, and then we sort of fade away. And I sort of got the hint. Should we say it now, or should we save it for the reveal?
I think we should save it for the reveal.
Yeah. Not in so many ways. So, oh, it's that bitch.
Yeah.
And we will return to that bitch later.
We know who this is. If you're paying attention, you do too.
But for now, we are done with this quest, which only left the last one, Memories of Distant Days.
And this one's quite good, quite lovely actually. So there's somebody says they're going to be at the Kirsch bar. They're looking for an old relative they haven't spoken to in a long time. Mm-hmm. Please come and help. So we go and they talk about how her niece, it's an older woman, and her niece disappeared during the 10 Years' War. And her sister and sister's husband were confirmed dead, and so she assumed that their daughter was also dead, and then recently was informed that the daughter was alive. Now, there's never an explanation for who informed her of this, and it's a really big omission. If anyone knew this, they would obviously have more information than just that. So how is it? It doesn't make any sense. But she has a picture of this little girl, and it's pretty clear this is another girl with a cute blue fuck us bob. I think it's pretty obvious who it is.
Me
as soon
too,
as you see it.
I looked at it, I was like, I know who that is. But at the same time, I did take a screenshot because I know who it is, but sort of taking a step back, in the screenshot that I have, Chloe is the one commenting on her. And she and Chloe look basically identical, except for eye color, which is not so much a common appearance thing as just an art style simplicity thing.
Yeah.
That 100% could be baby Chloe with contacts in. It's not, but I understand looking at that, I'm like, oh yeah, when everyone in your universe is drawn with the same chin shape, then yes, it might be easier to confuse people.
This is true.
But yeah, we get handed over one of these wonderful interactable event objects again. Never well implemented.
Oh my god. The fact that it's been so long You almost have forgotten that this...
I fully forgot, yeah.
The little girl was named Rainey, the little girl who apparently was not just survived, but was adopted by someone in Bose.
Yes.
Estelle's also pretty upset to hear about. She's just upset.
I like this.
Clearly thinking about, like, a little girl. Because also, Estelle's also was a little girl who lost her mom to this war. So Estelle is just upset hearing about this.
Yeah, she very personally relates to it. They don't dive into it, which I love. It's just like...
You know what's going through her mind, regardless.
Yeah, Estelle's kind of, like, disconnected a little bit, and then she's coming and she's like, well, that sucks, like, leaving a little girl by herself. I bet she felt abandoned and unsure of herself, and, like, yeah, it's very much kind of like, this is me. Me.
Mm-hmm.
And she's ready to dive into this mission. But, yeah, you're basically given this photo and told, I don't know, ask old people, I guess, because they've been around.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go around asking a bunch of people. I sort of asked a handful of NPCs just to see how many reactions I would get.
Oh, I didn't even bother.
You have to stand next to them or in the vicinity of them, go into your items menu and use the item, which every time shows you the photo, and then you cut to dialogue with them.
Yeah, you have to click again and then it goes, yeah.
A lot of them will just, like, wish you luck on finding her, or a couple of them say she looks kind of familiar. There's, I think his name's Jacob, an old dude who's standing to the north of the markets, and he's just like, she looks vaguely familiar, but I can't place it. And yeah, just kind of leaves it at that. The first person to say something useful to me, because I even tried, like, the church, figuring, you know, everyone goes to church, the father should know.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing until I went into Mayor Maybell's house and talked to the butler on the ground floor.
Oh, I didn't even ask him.
You don't have to, but he does kind of lead you in the direction.
Yeah, it does. That would make sense. I went straight to Lila.
Yeah, he's like, she looks kind of familiar. I'm pretty sure there's a photo on the master's desk of the same young woman. Not the same photo, but the same person.
But he doesn't...
I went into the study, and you can't interact with anything to see any other photo.
Well, that's dumb of them. Why would you do that?
But for me, I showed the photo first to Mayor Maybell in the office, because I figured, you know, if we're talking about a photo in the office and Maybell's in the office, maybe she'll, like, pull out the photo and say, oh, here you go. But what she actually does is she says, have you shown that to Lila yet? Lila, not Leela.
So I showed Lila first, and Lila just freaks out at it. And then I went to talk to Maybell. I don't know if it works the same way in that you have to go back to Maybell or not.
Well, it is. Like, I showed Maybell first. She says, have you talked to Lila first? Go talk to Lila. And then I went and talked to her, and yeah, she gets a bit shell-shocked. And in my version, there was an added line, I assume, where they said, yeah, we showed this to Maybell and she told us to come talk to you. And Lila's almost angry about it. It's like, did she now? And then she's like, all right, go talk to Maybell then. So you're just getting ping-ponged back and forth between these two neighboring rooms.
Interesting.
So you go back in and then you talk to Maybell and she's like, all right, well, if you've asked Lila about it, then we can move forwards. And she sends the other maid to fetch Maybell. Which
is the first we think we've heard that there's another maid working here.
She's, like, hanging out in the kitchen or something, and if you show her the photo beforehand, she's just like, oh, that girl's so cute. And that's all she's got to say about it.
All right, then. But Maybell looks very sad when I talk to her, and she says, that girl, I've known her for years, and she's very important to me.
I bet.
Sounds
gay. Because the girl in the picture is Lila. She is, in fact, the girl she looks exactly like. Crazy.
Who would have thunk?
The other maid fetches Lila to bring her in, who denied knowing anything about the photo when you showed it to her.
Even our characters noticed that she was, like, acting weird about it. Like, it clearly freaked her out.
I don't know if you tried talking to her again after showing her the photo, but if you do try and prompt her again, she's just like, I'm busy cleaning. Please leave me alone. So she's, like, fully switched off the polite energy. She's just like, I'm busy, go. We get told that it's Lila and everyone acts shell-shocked as though it's not the exact same person with shorter hair. And yeah, we get a very sort of sad explanation from Lila. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm not Rainey, whatever the name is. Because basically the way she's decided to cope with the fact that she lost her parents in the war.
And everyone she knew beforehand, because, like, she was also stranded in another country.
Yes. She basically just decided in her head that the girl child, Rainey, is dead. And wouldn't give her name when she was brought to Bose. And so Maybell's dad gave her the name Lila as sort of a stand-in until she was ready or able to recall her name.
So they didn't say, hey, you.
Yeah, hey, orphan.
Blue orphan.
So yeah, she's the girl, shocker. And yeah, she's basically, I basically compartmentalized. Rainey as a child is dead. The feelings that she had about the people she loved are dead. And I'm a new person, which is pretty sad, but she does agree to go meet Corna, her aunt.
Well, Estelle gives her a little pep talk before that convinces her to do it. Estelle is like, you're not alone. You're Maybell's family. Everyone in Beau's, like, all these people think of you as family. Like, don't go saying you're all alone in the world, because you're not. Even though you've had this loss, because it's clear that Estelle related to Rainey when she heard the story about her, you connect that Estelle is also kind of sharing her own, how she copes with grief.
Yeah.
I mean, she does literally have her father, but also she has all this found family around her. And Father Kevin goes, God, that's right. The bonds between people are stronger than you might think, which is very on theme. This chapter is very much thematically about the whereabouts of bonds, about the title, but about the connections between people and how the bonds we forge between each other are stronger than they get credit for. And yeah, so she gives this pep talk, and Mabel's like, she says, you are the most precious, important person in my life. Saying you're alone like that, please don't say something so terribly sad. You've never been alone, Lila, ever. Because they're girlfriends. Lila agrees to meet this woman, and Mabel's coming too, because she's like, I obviously need to meet my girlfriend's aunt, my girlfriend's family. There's a lot of that going on in this chapter. Mabel's like, obviously, we're a couple, and we go do these things together.
Yep.
So we all go down to the bar. It's very cute. Mabel is very excited that Lila's like, well, I guess I'll accompany you to the bar. And Mabel's like, no, I'm the one accompanying you. Come on, march to it. Left, right, left, right. Like, it's very cute how she's like, no, I get to be the maid this time. It lends credence to my whole theory that they're just really into role play in this maid thing. Yeah. Which also ties to the fact that Lila was adopted by, like, kind of like, they're like a Joshua and Estelle couple. They're even doing that parallel, because, like, an orphan covered in blood gets taken home by your dad with no explanation.
Yes, the ginger-haired kid wearing red has a dark-haired, bright-eyed child brought home to be their plaything.
Yeah.
It's just a national pastime in LaBelle, I suppose. I do like as well when Mabel is frog marching her out of the mayor's residence to go meet her aunt, and she's like, left, right, let's go. The professional facade fully slips, and Lila's just like, Mabel. It's not like, my lady, or whatever. She's just, she looks like embarrassed and uncomfortable. We go meet the aunt. It's all very pleasant. Aunt Corner says she originally intended to find Rainey and take her back home, but she's like, no, you've clearly built a life and a relationship in this town.
Yeah, she's like, it would just be cruel of me to try and take you home.
Yeah.
We also get confirmation she's about 20, Lila, which presumably means Mabel's around 20.
Which means she's also a legal adult and can't be dragged back to another country.
Yeah, you'd hope so.
I also like that when they reveal that she's not from LaBelle, she's from the Lehman State. And they keep saying it with the in the front of it as a declarative. So I really like she's from the Lehman State.
And everyone treats this like a huge deal, because we've got all these bracers here, and they're like, oh my god, Le Mans State, that's the mothership.
Oh my god, you're from the Toronto? That's crazy. Yeah, it's just like, they're like, oh yeah, that's where, like, Bracer HQ is. That's where I went to, like, work out my feelings and also get better at stick hitting.
Hilariously, Estelle doesn't even say, I was there recently. She's just like, that's where the training grounds are. Like, not, that's where I went for training. Like, no, that's just, she doesn't talk. She's like, it's too precious. It's too sacred for me to refer to myself as having spent time there.
Lila's, like, happy to know her aunt. She says, I won't be moving to the Lehman State, but I might come for a holiday to visit family and meet your husband and spend time with you and all that stuff. And then we sort of wander outside with Lila and Mabel going back to the mansion. I do like that they have a little bit of a chat and just like, okay, so you said you would go visit them. How soon do you want to do that? When do you need time off? Because you just need to let me know so that I can prepare and...
Well, you think that's where she's going with it, and then she's like, and obviously I need to go too, so, like, I'm also need to put time out of my schedule, because obviously I'm going to Le Mans State too, when you go. I need some childhood gossip about you.
She's like, you've heard all the childhood stories from before you came to live with us about me, so I need to get dirt on you. And Lila's like, no, my childhood was immaculate, I was perfect, and I never did anything wrong. Unlike certain infamous tomboys who would be scandalized should their past be made public, I have nothing to fear. Which means that she just turned to her boss/girlfriend and said, you're an infamous dyke, according to Autumn's translation of the word tomboy.
Yep.
Lovely. But yes, it seems like Mabel and Lila have a holiday to meet the rest of the extended family in their future to the Lehman State. I can't wait to hear about how it went.
It's going to be a great story, I'm sure. Full of lesbian sex.
I bet. I don't know how much of that we'll see on screen, but we can only hope.
Hopefully we at least get some sort of details, I'm sure. But that was when I was done the side questing. Hoorah.
Hoorah. And there's not really that much else going on around town. There were 2 chapters of whatchamacallit to find this time. What's the book called? Not Carnelia.
Oh, yeah, the Gambler Jack.
Yeah, thank you. Jeez.
When I was in Ravenue, I picked up the other chapter. I forgot from one of the kids who was like, now that I'm allowed to play outside again, I don't need a book anymore.
Yeah, it was a little bit startling because, at least in the way I went through things, I found chapter 9 of Gambler Jack before I found chapter 8.
Me too.
And I'd been in Beau's Market where I'd seen there was a chapter of Gambler Jack for sale. I unfortunately got mixed up because I had also just been in Beau's in the remake of First Chapter, where there was also a chapter of the book that I had to buy for Carnelia.
Oh, yes.
So I was getting my wires crossed. I was like, shit, I've got chapter 9, but not chapter 8. I'd better go back to Beau's and buy the book. But that's chapter 6. And then I was panicking like, oh, Christ. Because I don't know if you remember, a handful of episodes ago, I boldly promised that I would not forget a single book this time. And I got so close.
Yeah.
But no, it turns out
boy.
There's a kid in Ravenue who's playing near the entrance of the village, and when you talk to him, he's like, oh, it's nice to be outside and allowed to play again. Do you want this book? Because I don't have to be inside anymore. And he gives you chapter 8. Seems like a pretty advanced book for a child to be reading, but hey.
Yeah.
We all learn new things about ourselves in lockdown, hey?
So true, bestie.
Yeah, so that pretty much wrapped up everything to do across the region, so it was time to go to our spa day at Valeria Lake, which I'm sure will work out great.
Hey!
Yeah, so we head to the Kingfisher Inn, we check in, you sort of say you're ready to like kick back and relax, and we get a fun little montage of like relaxing times.
Yeah. We
start off with our room assignments where all the girls will get to sleep in a 4-seater. The guys, however, they say they didn't understand how many people were coming, so they assigned the rooms because Kevin's joined.
Because Kevin was added later, but then it doesn't make sense why.
Yeah.
There should have been 3 beds in the men's room.
There's only 2 beds in the room, and it's like, oh, you've got an extra. So there's 4 guys. So either Olivier wasn't counted as a member of the party as well, and that was just another like read on him to book for only 6 people, not 7. Or he'd gone in advance to the checkout counter and he's like, it's okay, Agate and I will share a bed. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so they're like, all right, you guys can split across 2 rooms. Olivier calls dibs on Agate, which Agate's kind of like, hang on, chill.
Gay panic about.
Yeah, not quite as extreme as he has previously, but he's like, dude.
Not as bad, but he's like, excuse me. Olivier's like, I obviously want to hear all the gossip about what went down with Tita, and so I can write a song about the girl child who managed to stop you from killing yourself.
Yeah.
And Agate's like, ugh.
Estelle's kind of like, leave him alone, but also I kind of want to hear that too. And then the conversation kind of moves on and everyone just filters out of the room so that Jin and Kevin can go set up in their other room. Everyone leaves except for Agate, who's just there like, hang on, no, we haven't decided this yet.
We haven't finished this conversation, excuse me.
But it's all fine, we move on. We sit down to update everyone about what's going on between Kevin and the rest of the party. And he says that the whole experience with the dragon kind of reminds him of a line of scripture.
Yes.
Which was, and the goddess, having bequeathed her treasures, sent forth the holy beasts to observe the path the children of men would take. So yeah, Kevin kind of shares that the scripture kind of points out that the holy beasts are here to observe but not interfere. So it sounds like the dragon and any other holy beasts out there have the same sort of non-interference clause.
Yeah, they're just like bracers. They're not allowed to interfere in politics.
Yeah. But Kevin does update on his investigations around the towers as well.
Yes.
Because he is equally interested in the doohickeys at the top of each tower.
Exactly.
He's like, did you know that they're glowing now? And Estelle's like, yeah, I saw one. And I'm like, bitch, you've seen 3. I've gone up every tower I possibly could.
Yeah, come on, Estelle.
Come on, track that shit. Yeah, Julia told him that something weird happened in the reverie chamber where the big robot was underneath the castle. Estelle updates him and says, yeah, so when we did the thing, and there was the announcement about the seal being broken, and then the towers, the pillars sunk into the ground in the reverie room. And he confirms that eyewitnesses confirmed that at the same time, all the towers lit up out in the world. So, shocker.
Which makes you wonder who was eyewitnessing the tower do it, because you can't see that from the base of the towers unless they lit up really light when the second it happened, and then the light dimmed. Like, they're not glowing beacons. Maybe it was like patrolling airships saw something?
Maybe. Eyewitnesses sort of confirmed that they lined up. Who would have guessed that the red, yellow, blue, and green pillars were related to the red, yellow, blue, and green towers? But they are.
It's actually really funny that they had no idea about this. I've kind of been assuming they put it together when we did at the exact second it happened, but no.
No, apparently we just did not consider that information whatsoever. It sounds like the towers were engaged as sort of a second barrier after the first barrier in the sealed area failed, which isn't a good design for like protective layers. They should all be on so that you have to break through them one at a time. It's not like you broke the first one, now turn on the second one. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the second barrier to the aureole. Kevin thinks that they're specifically like to obscure the GPS data for the aureole so that we can't find out where it is. And if all of the barriers were dropped, then it would appear on Google Maps again.
Yeah, that's exactly how Septarians work, I think.
And they sort of go on to say, like, it seems like the Society's experiments across all the different regions are all sort of in service of trying to break down the barriers and find the hidden aureole, which is, well, they know it's somewhere in Loewe, just not where. But I'm very curious at this point to learn how those experiments line up with finding the aureole, because we've had illusions, earthquakes, fog. What else? Dragon?
Dragon control. Oh, Ren's. What did Ren do? What was Ren's thing?
Her tea party stuff.
Oh, EMP on the giant tank.
Yeah.
Tank power.
So we've got tank power, fog power, and earthquake power, dragon, and illusions. How do those 5 ingredients make the Captain Planet that's going to solve their problems? I don't know. But apparently it's all been in service of the grand plan. So we've got a second barrier up. The Society is trying to figure out how to break down that barrier again with fog and dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But it all traces back to this mysterious professor.
And Estelle has drawn some conclusions about this professor. She believes that he's the one who made Joshua leave in the first place. And she has figured out that she met somebody on the day right before Joshua left and that she can't remember his face. And that is, like, I was actually really impressed that Estelle had put all this together. That she's like, I can't remember this person's face. I think my memory's been wiped of who it is. And I think it's the same person who wiped Colonel Richard and Kurt's memories.
Yeah.
And who made Joshua leave. And I think it's the magician that I don't know if she says this, but I think she's at least thinking it's the magician he talked about. It's the professor. Like, she's put it all together that whoever it is this person. I'm so proud of Estelle. She's come so far.
It's very impressive, yeah. Like, she's been paying attention to all these people who have missing time or just missing memories. Kurt gave us a pretty clear description of what he was experiencing with his foggy memories. Mm-hmm. So she's put it together as like, okay, yes, I've obviously been hyperfixating on when Josh left and every detail of the situation and the events leading up to it to figure out why it happened and how I could have stopped it and what I have to do next, because it's my Joshua. She's been going over and over again. It's like, I met a guy, we talked about something, and he looked like someone. And yeah, she's just like, okay, yeah, I've had this very selective memory wipe, which makes me wonder, is Weissman having to do that sort of on the fly in the park mean that it's less well done than some of the other memory wipes because he had to rush it? Or is it like surgically precise? So she's only cut out himself, but none of the sort of circumstances around it that left her the space to lead up to this, because Kurt, he'd been amnesiac for like 3 months and hadn't been able to figure anything out.
Yeah.
And he was like puzzling on it the whole time. So yeah, I just thought maybe it was a bit more of a rush job and that's why they left her.
Yeah, I wonder. No, it could be. It's interesting.
Everyone's sort of like, well, that's terrifying. Let's go enjoy our holiday.
Yeah, and Olivier's like, let us navigate the forests of meat through the rivers of liquor. Merriment awaits. And Shara goes, rivers of liquor, Lenheim? Mm-hmm. And Olivier has the full body shiver and goes, that was an unfortunate metaphor. Oh, please, Shara, do not make me swim. And I just thought that was very funny.
Oh, poor Ollie. He's so under threat when he's surrounded by any women at all.
Women with better alcohol tolerance, especially. Which is every woman that he knows.
Yeah. So we get our little montage. I quite like this little run through of different things they're doing. We get a shot of Estelle waking up all the ladies in their room.
Yeah. Which reminds me of when Chloe was trying to wake her up at school and she was refusing to be woken up.
Yeah. Seems a bit more successful this time. But I also noticed that they were very careful not to let Shara or Chloe get out of bed because they don't have pajama sprites for them.
Yeah.
They just sort of turn their head while Tita gets up because she has a nightgown sprite already. Mm-hmm. So then they're out on the boats on the lake. We've got the party split into 2 boats. Olivier's playing his lute on the prow of one ship. On
the boat. It's very cute.
And Sieg's just sort of perched on the other one enjoying the ride, which is lovely. And then Jin and Agate are having a sparring match on the pier.
Yeah, and everyone's watching.
while everyone else sort of sits on the steps and watches, which I love. They're all just like hanging out and like watching them fight. It's so chill.
Yeah.
The fact they've got an audience and they've also like posed them all on those steps rather than at a pre-described table or whatever, it just feels like such a good use of the environment.
I agree, yeah.
And then after that, all of the girls, so Shara, Tita, Chloe, and Olivier, are sitting up on the balcony having cocktails while all of the guys, Jin, Estelle, Kevin, and Agate, are fishing on the pier.
Yep.
Yeah, I just love that we've got that split. It's like, obviously, Olivier's got the biggest, fruitiest, cocktailiest drink.
Of course. As he should, as he deserves.
He's not going to be fishing, yeah. But after all that, it's like coming into evening. We've got that lovely, like, sort of amber-coloured light as the girls sit around having some tea in their room. They're talking about fishing and how much Kevin loves it.
Mm-hmm. But Estelle is still better.
Yeah, Estelle does specifically mention about Kevin. He definitely knows how to handle a rod and whatnot, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, hear that, Olivier?
Yeah, Olivier just face pressed against the window saying, "What did you say?"
Olivier wants someone to handle his rod, and like, we finally found someone.
It's like, here's one I prepared earlier, father.
Yeah.
Call me father, don't call me daddy. But during this little conversation, Estelle sort of excuses herself. She's been having a lovely time, but it seems like she needs to go decompress a little bit. She's had her distraction and now she needs to go think about reality a bit. So she wanders off and everyone's like, we know where she's going. And for a moment, I thought, I don't. Where am I going?
Oh no. Well, the music is playing, which I think is a pretty good indicator.
Yeah.
Joshua's favorite harmonica beats are playing, but not the harmonica version.
We head out to the pier where we had little chats last game where Estelle sat on the edge and Joshua played her favorite song.
Mm-hmm.
She pulls out the harmonica and is like reminiscing about it. And she's like, man, I don't know how to play except for in that dream that one time.
Yeah, I played in a dream. That probably counts.
And you know what? It does, apparently.
Plays it right. And just like Joshua, everyone in the vicinity hears it. So there's clearly still an amp on this thing.
Yeah.
Because everyone can hear this harmonica from miles away. Kind of thinks to herself about how the sunset, it all looks the same as that one night, right? And she's also thinking, I just made up my mind to take my time and chase him after my own pace. And now here I am. There is one person who doesn't hear her from far away. You notice when all the guys at their table look out because they hear her, Kevin's not there.
Yeah.
Because Kevin has come over here.
Yeah, he claps, he applauds her performance, and he's like, that's a really pretty tune.
Mm-hmm.
I also like that he's really respecting boundaries today.
Yes.
Because as he comes up to the pier, he's like, hey, is it okay if I get closer? Because he's like respecting, like, this is a personal moment. I don't want to just like invade with my usual like
bluster
lover boy persona. And he says, you know, even if your playing wasn't technically perfect, the song was heartfelt as shit, basically.
Yeah.
I could see all the emotion in that song, even if you didn't play it perfectly. And I was just like, joke's on you, Father Kevin. It's the same MIDI file.
Exactly. Like, it was as perfect as Joshua. So, but then Kevin's asking her if she's thought about what she's going to say if and when she does find her boyfriend again. That, from what he has gathered, Joshua left under what we might call circumstances, heavy ones, which is true. It's correct.
Yeah. I found that Estelle's reasoning, she says, no, I haven't figured out what I'm going to say to him, but with really good reasons. She's like, you know, what I have to say to him is about the feelings between the two of us, and I won't feel those feelings between the two of us until we're together. So I need to wait for that moment to understand my feelings in the moment and communicate them to him. And I'm like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. That these feelings aren't just mine alone. They grew between us, and they belong to both of us, and they belong in the space that we share when we're together. And that's where they'll come from. And I was like, Estelle, you have so much emotional intelligence these days. I love it. I mean, you always did, but now you're like flexing that muscle like intentionally.
Kevin's not happy about it. He's like, well, damn, I wanted to white knight you. And now I can't because you're too emotionally advanced.
Yeah, it's really quite funny, actually.
So that sounds good. But we don't get any further because then an unconscious man sails up on a boat.
Yeah, you sure do. Oh shit, that's Kurt. Poor Kurt is just constantly getting knocked out.
He is.
By the society.
He's not having a good time in these games. Yeah, he's just unconscious on a boat. But like, okay, well, there's no islands or anything on the lake, so he must have come from some other edge of the lake. Mm-hmm. We bring him inside for some bed rest.
He wakes up.
Yeah, he wakes up and he remembers a little bit.
Just enough to know that his memory was definitely stolen again.
Yeah.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, Kurt. Come on. This is too many times.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on me. Hey, fool me once, shame on me.
Oh, Kurt.
Poor Kurt. He's been fooled once so many times. Yeah, so he wakes up and he's like, yeah, we were infiltrating the base, we found it, and then that's all I got.
And I can't remember where, because my memory got fucked up.
He's like, quick, Jin, memory punch me.
You're too wounded for that, dude. That'll kill you.
It's like, also, I made that up.
Yeah.
That was like...
heat of the moment.
That was ill-advised improvisation in the moment. He's like, no, punch my brain better. Punch me.
Punch my brain better. And Kevin's like, don't worry, buddy, I got you. Because I know how to punch a brain better, but with religion. The fist of God instead of the fist of man. And he's basically like, I don't know about any, like, nasty subconscious shit, like, but in terms of, like, a short-term memory block, yeah, I can deal with that with my church powers. And Olivier says, is this the secret art of the church? Thaumaturgy. Which I'm just shouting that out as an interesting thing. And he's like, you can call that if you want. Sure, sorta. And then I did write down what he says exactly. He holds out this, like, seal thing, and he goes, in the name of she who dwells above do I hold this consecrated septium. Silver reflection of the conscious will, black luminance of time's flow. By your opposing natures, I divest this mortal man of the ties which bind his mind. Which, until the bind his mind, really sounds like you're freeing him from this mortal coil.
It does a little bit, yeah. It's like a last rites kind of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it could have been, because right before this, Kevin also warns Kurt, he's like, this might feel like your head's getting kicked by a mule repeatedly.
Repeatedly.
Church magic is not necessarily gentle magic every time.
Not necessarily.
He holds out his medallion, he like Moon Tiara magics him better or whatever, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, it like glows with rays of glowing shit.
So he recalls at that point, with this extra boost of memory recover, that the base is on the northwest coast of the lake, and it's definitely hidden because they're projecting illusions above the building of a forest so that airships can't see it, and if you try and approach by land or sea, you get swamped with fog.
So now we know what they're using the gospel for, at least right now.
We have a location for the secret base, research laboratory or whatever it is, but we got through the fog and past these fake satellite pictures, but then we got wiped by enforcers on arrival. So there's tough enemies there. Be prepared, build your team, and get ready to go.
Yes. And they specifically talk about, I think you mentioned this already, but that it's some sort of a research facility that their base is, and Estelle is particularly really thrown by this. She, like, really reacts to the fact that it's a research facility, like a lab of some kind.
What more do they have to research, honestly?
Well, and they're doing all these, like, on-site experiments. Like, why do they need a lab? That's not where all their shit's happening. But they're doing a lot of other science that we haven't seen yet, as we will learn. Yeah,
there's some weird stuff in this building. It's time to prep. We get on a boat and we start sailing across the lake.
We do put together a party before we leave, though. Not everybody goes.
Yes.
You kind of have to, you can't go back to the beginning of this dungeon to change your party or anything. You're locked in.
You're locked in, yeah. So who did you go with?
I brought Kevin, Chloe, and Jin. I just kept the same party all chapter.
Yeah, same actually. I didn't realize I wouldn't be able to change them, so I was still with the same gang. But they've been pretty good for me so far.
Yeah, they did good. It was good to get them back up leveled. We roll up to the research facility.
The Lakeside Laboratory, I believe is the official name, or at least that's what my walkthrough called it. I think it's pretty cool.
I think it was called that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. On the boat, Kevin is doing his lover boy thing, and Estelle's like, do you have a girlfriend? And Kevin tries to be like, well, I have a candidate in every town on the continent. And Estelle's like, yeah, so you don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah. It doesn't take long for Estelle to shift from being like flabbergasted by a new outrageous personality to just being like, all right, I've found your kill codes. It's like, oh, do you have a girlfriend? Oh, I've got hoes in different area codes. Like, but you don't have any phone numbers.
Yeah. She's so good.
And, he's far too busy, like, perfecting his rod handling to spend time with women.
Exactly. I was going to say, he's handling Olivier's rod, Estelle. But they are kind of talking about how he doesn't have any backup from the Gralsritter here, and what the Gralsritter's kind of whole deal is that basically people having artifacts have, like, cosmic power. Like, some of them are insanely powerful. And whenever any normal civilian ends up with one, things usually go bad. They're usually seduced by power and do bad things, like Mayor Dalmor. So their goal as the Gralsritter is basically to confiscate artifacts from people before they can try to destroy the world for shits and giggles because they got drunk off ultimate power, which is like a pretty important thing, I guess. I understand why you would do that.
And it's interesting the way they describe it, because when they talk about Dalmor, they're like, yeah, when he was wielding the time stop wand, he had like a level of like cruelty to him that was unexpected. It almost implies that like the artifacts do that classic like mystical object thing where they enhance your worst qualities.
It could be. I took it more to see that, like, the fact that he had this item, it seemed to be implying that he had been using it for his machinations longer, like, not just this one time.
So more of a power corrupts absolutely thing.
Yeah, I think that was more what I took, though it could, I suppose, be either way. Either way, it's bad when random people have more power than God.
When they get given that gift too early.
Too early, yeah. I do like that Father Kevin, when he's talking about how he's the only girls road in the world right now, he says if stuff really hits the rotating thingamajigger, though, some of my buddies might fly out here. I do like that he used that. He also used the word doohickey at some point in this chapter, which I loved.
He does, yeah. I was just like, he said the thing. It's like when they say the name of the movie, only it's the dumb word that you've been saying about the movie.
Yeah, I love it.
We park the boat next to the Lakeside Lab, right next to the conveniently placed Orbment charging station that they have on the waterfront for some reason.
Yeah.
But we wander up to the door. Front door's locked, so you have to go around to the side entrance.
So that placement makes more sense to me than a lot of the other ones, because I'm like, maybe, like, theoretically boats need to be plugged in, kind of like how, like, electric cars need to be plugged into a charging. Maybe it's like,
I guess, yeah.
A lot of the placements of them make no sense. That one you can kind of hand wave an explanation, assuming that our tactical orbment charging stations are the same things that you would hook up like a car or a boat or whatever to, like that all the charging stations are the same. At least that makes more sense than the roulette sewers having one.
That's true, yeah. I mean, orbments automatically charge themselves over time, but maybe you can fast charge them to speed up the process?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
It's interesting because, yeah, like, it's something I've thought about the later games when, like, orbments are such a thing. Like, there's big business, you have all those, like, stores in Daybreak that have, you know, appliances and stuff. So if orbments are self-charging and you don't need to pay for electricity or whatever, how is capitalism happening? But I realized that probably they have an orbment power network, and then all of these devices like your blender and your vacuum cleaner don't have an inbuilt orbment. They're just the same way our appliances work. You just plug them into the power source, and that's where the orb energy comes from.
Oh, smart. That makes sense. I never thought about it.
Yeah, maybe either the boat, it's like, you're out on the boat, you don't want to go out into a lake with like a half charge, so you'd like fast charge your Tesla boat before you leave the shore again. Or, yeah, it has like some sort of onboard reserve power battery, but not a power source that you're charging. Like an electric car, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a complete diversion into like technological infrastructure, but we're here to break into a lab, so let's do that. The front door was locked, so we went in the side entrance. Not very secure.
Yeah. Sucks. Oh, we also immediately find the one of those little weird archaisms that we saw in the mines, and we get confirmation that, yes, like we thought, that society's archaisms. And Kevin points out that archaisms are called that because they're usually ancient, but these ones are definitely new, and also gives us the realization about archaic mechanisms being the what it means. We totally blanked on that beforehand. It's kind of embarrassing.
People keep telling us we're experts on these games, and then we record our stupidity to show them. Are we trying to prove them wrong? What are we doing here?
You know, we're just keeping ourselves humble.
Next time we're on a show, it's like, the experts on trails, we can just shout, wrong!
We're experts sometimes. Except when we're too stupid to live.
Look, we do our best.
We do. Look, I'm the one who's really taking the L here because I'm the one who's always going on rants about, like, deep lore. I'm the one who, like, I'm really taking an L here.
I fucking adore a portmanteau, and it's taken me how many games to finally fucking click? They say archaisms so often in the later games. How did I never? Whatever.
I think in the later games, we're usually talking about the societies one, so they're not old, they're not ancient things. It's almost always the society's archaisms.
They're not archaic, they're all modern. They're modernisms. I understand that might be confusing.
Yes.
We run around fighting the modernisms. So we run around fighting a bunch of these mine archaisms until eventually we find our way to a boss room. And you would think the boss would be an even bigger mechanism or one of the enforcers, because one of the things we've highlighted so far, there's no people anywhere.
Yeah.
It's only the robots. We've not seen an enforcer, we've not seen a scientist.
And there's not even that many of them. Like, there's not as many as you might expect.
It's like a robotic skeleton crew.
Yeah. But there's a red-haired man in here.
So we find Grant. That's fantastic. 1/3 of our mission is done.
But oh, wait.
He's not happy about being found. He pulls a sword. He wants to fight. And he's got some robot friends.
It's so fucking rude. I can't believe he befriended the fucking robots.
Rude. He's hypnotized or whatever.
Got the red eyes too in this little portrait.
Yeah, he's got like the flat gradient eyes with no pupils.
Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting that we've got multiple layers of like disconcerting eyes in this game because you've got these eyes with no pupil.
And they're different color.
Which means they're brainwashed.
It's like when Don Capua was red-eyed, and then they changed color when he was not hypnotized anymore.
But then different again because like he had his full eye detailed, whereas this is very much like a brainwashed mind control kind of eye. And then separately you've got Joshua who has the flat gradient eye with no sparkle, but still has the pupil. So he is brainwashed but in control.
I think he's just being an edgelord.
Oh, yes. That's the live journal eyes, I forgot.
Exactly.
In any case, the fight with Grant, it's not too bad. He does a lot of like jumping around with his sword.
Yeah, he can cancel arts, which is annoying.
My least favorite thing in these games. Like, I never cared about art cancelling in Cold Steel because I never used arts, and now that they are the lifeblood of combat, I'm like, that's annoying. Crazy.
Yeah, it's much easier if you have Shara in the team and you can have her AT advanced skill so that the arts get cast immediately before another turn. I love doing that. But as good of a unit as I would like her to be, and she's also not here right now. She's not as good compared to some of the options I have right now.
We have so many options. We take down Grant. Kevin Moontiara magics him again to wake him up.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't scream the way that Kurt did, so I don't know if Kevin's gotten better at this since he tried it back at the lakeshore.
It's possible.
But we restore him. He's not in great shape, so he's going to head back to the boat and wait for us while we finish the mission.
But he says he doesn't need us to accompany him. Like, he's not so bad that he can't make it on his own, he says.
Yeah, big tough boy. But there's a terminal that we open up. It gives us some information as well as a red key. Now, I did capture all of these little journal entries because they're pretty interesting to give us a bit more information about the society and what they're up to. So this first one is about archaism classification.
Yes.
Those are archaic mechanisms, in case you didn't know. The Orbal droid weapons utilized by the Society are modeled after the ancient archaism weapons and developed by the research organization The 13 Factories, under the direct command of Anne Anguis. Doesn't say which one. Furthermore, these facilities produce primarily standardized humanoid units, such as both types of patrol units, the Vogel, the Scout unit, Port Seeker, as well as the combat unit Vanguard, but development based on the Guardian for new redacted. And that's all we get. So the little four-legged spider guys, they're the Vogels. We have the red and blue versions of those. And then these other ones we haven't really seen yet, the Port Seeker and the Vanguard. But apparently that's what the 13 factories have been producing.
Apparently so. That's a lot of factories.
So yeah, we get a colored key, which is very funny because I'm also playing Doom the Dark Ages at the same time, which is all about colored key cards. And so there's a bit of backtracking. You can sort of run back and there's rooms you can open up earlier in that floor and even on the previous floors with the 3 different colored key cards you'll get across this dungeon. A lot of it's just like little extra chests, but there is one room that you can go into that adds a little bit of story information.
Yeah.
You wander into this random lab, and there's just the Reverie sitting there.
Yeah.
The big robot from under the castle.
Yeah. He's just there, hanging out.
And Kevin being in my party, who is required because he needs to participate in these conversations, he says, that's crazy, because I was just in the sealed area, and the robot's still there.
Yeah.
So this is a different, separate Reverie.
So either they've built a new one, or they've really quickly managed to move it.
They've moved it fast, they've built a replica, or there's another one somewhere. Who knows? It's very unclear. But yeah, second floor, other than that, there's not much of interest. I did notice there's a room that has like 6 cryopod things, like cryogenic stasis chambers for people.
Yep.
And one of them is open, and there's just no information about that.
I think it's later meant to be implied that that's the enhanced Jaegers were being made in here, like having their enhancements done in these areas.
Okay. That's where they get cooked. Okay, yep.
But at the time, it's just super spooky.
Yeah, it's like having it sit there with one of the pods actively open.
It's so it's like a horror movie. Like, where's the Frankenstein monster going to come out of?
Exactly, yeah.
I want to point out, I find it so interesting that these 3, plus Kurt, were a fight in themselves that our same team took on, or pretty much the same team took on an FC in the tournament.
Yeah, true.
So there's something interesting that either they've also powered up a lot, or the hypnotism is also making them stronger. That they're a full boss fight all by themselves, where it took 4 of them to be a fight for 4 of us.
Yeah, maybe sort of being puppeted in that way is sort of unlocking their limits because they're not sort of being held back by their physical comfort or whatever. They can just go full crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Which might be why they're in so much pain afterwards.
Yeah, it's all just catching up with them.
Yeah.
But boss number 2 is our beloved Kana.
My girlfriend! It's so fucking sad that they did this to me. I had to fight her when she was pretending to be a Jaeger earlier, and now I have to fight her that's not even aware.
So she's Gun.
Mm-hmm.
She's pretty dangerous in this fight. She can, like, take you out from pretty strong distance.
Yeah, and she can push you guys all out of the way.
Yeah.
With, like, an attack that, like, makes all your characters, like, spread all over the place.
Yeah, she's really good at, like, manipulating positions on the battlefield, which is interesting. Like, each of them are sort of embodying a different mechanic or, like, approach in combat.
Yeah, a different part of the tactics of Trails combat.
Exactly, and it's why they make such a big, competent party together. It's just interesting that it's kind of challenging you with these things that keep you on your toes because it's not the same kind of fight every time. It's also reminding you, like, hey, this is stuff you could be doing. Like, you could be messing around in fights like this, like pushing people around and cancelling arts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But after taking her out, we get another key card.
Yes.
And another journal entry. This one is about treatment of combatants. Temporary combatants acquired from Jaeger Corps and other sources receive the following treatments. Number 1, Physical Enhancement Program. Number 2, Combat Technique Enhancement Program. Number 3, Chain of Command Obedience Program. And number 4, Protection of Secrecy Hypnosis Program, which is followed by more redacted text.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of information to not redact that kind of gives us the big 4. We make them stronger and better at fighting and very obedient and secretive.
Yeah, hypnotize them to not be able to betray us.
And then maybe some other stuff that's redacted. But honestly, that's pretty damning evidence just on the unredacted portion.
Yeah, that's not good. That's disturbing.
But yeah, it does make sense why this is also the floor where those weird cryopod things are. So you're probably right that that's where they were being cooked into good soldiers.
There's also a target practice thingies somewhere else on this floor, or on the next floor, I think.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's as you're on the way to the next floor.
Yeah.
There's also a corridor that's full of, like, upright tanks that you'd expect to see, like, Resident Evil monsters in.
Yeah, or, like, back to tanks from Star Wars, where the, like, boy Luke Skywalker recovers from fighting a bantha on Hoth in the ice thing.
So floor 3, I didn't really note anything interesting on the floor itself. Did you catch anything?
Well, if you go to the outside door, there's this weird glowing blue, like, skylight looking or whatever thing.
Yeah, and it's, like, pulsating, which must mean that it's the illusion projectors.
Yeah, it's probably that, but it is never addressed in game itself.
It looks like a floodlight, but if you think of the way a floodlight structure with sort of those concentric circles on the glass of the front, it's like pulsing those in order.
You clearly know more about floodlights than me.
I don't know. So this must be their satellite imaging projectors. I do kind of... Obviously it wasn't going to happen because this is such an old game, but a shot of them flying a ship through the holographic projector would be so cool.
Remake, come
on. But after sort of making our way through the 3rd floor past the floodlights, we get to our 3rd boss. Maybe the hardest one, actually.
Oh, easily the hardest one, yeah.
It's Annalise. She is also hypnotized, brainwashed.
It looks freakier on her, the eyes, for some reason.
It does, yeah.
I think because she's always got so much, like, cheer and, like, exuberance that, like, brainwashed, like, dead-eyed Annalise is, like, really freaky.
Yeah, she's tough.
Like, she's Estelle's Estelle, as Steven said. Seeing Estelle's Estelle, like, all dead-eyed is freaky.
And apparently turning off her happiness makes her into a deadly combat weapon, because she was wiping party members multiple times through this fight tough. For me.
She wasn't quite that bad for me, but she was tough. The next fight was the hardest one for me.
I did find myself sorely lacking for a party member who had Thalos at this point.
Ah, yes.
Because I was burning through reviving bombs like crazy.
Oof. I think she did maybe take Chloe down.
But when we finally take her down, she gets de-brainwashed, and she mentions, it's like, Estelle, I've got to tell you, I've got important news. up on the next floor, I saw Joshua.
And she's like, where'd he go? And Alice is like, well, I can't tell you that because we did get, like, ambushed and then taken out and brainwashed and kidnapped. So I don't know all those details, but, like,
yeah.
I saw your boy.
So we better get going, which means check the computer in this room again. We get our final keycard and another journal entry, which is about beta. So based on the data collected from the experiments performed throughout LaBeoul, the beta has entered the final tuning phase. This emulator fully simulates the functionality of the original and manages a 90% synchronization rate with orbal fields. As a result, its size has increased, but execution of the gospel plan should be ... redacted. So the beta sounds pretty clearly to be like their beta gospel.
Gospel, yeah.
Messed around with all these sort of variants, sort of experimenting with different factors and like effects of the different gospels in the different regions, leading up to the beta, which they couldn't miniaturize it, so it's huge. Which is a good thing to know. No one's going to be carrying it around in their back pocket to spring on us. It's also on this floor that you find a couple of rooms where they have other pre-beta, like alpha versions of it.
Yes.
There's one that's like super duper huge in a cabinet. Another one that's more like the size you saw, but they say something about it not working properly, I think.
It is funny being able to see just like a billion little like gospels hanging out. And it sounds like, damn, we can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
It would have been convenient to steal them all for Professor Russell to take apart, but no.
Yeah. It's more important that we run up to the 4th floor to find Joshua, who's apparently somewhere up there or was before Annalise got brainwashed. And we do find Joshua on the 4th floor.
So I know we're not doing it right now, but I will forget otherwise the chest message I wanted to shout out, because there's just one.
Oh, yes.
I've been looted so many times that I'm thinking of putting in a request to the Bracer Guild to catch the culprits.
Yeah, I did see that one. What was the one I caught? Oh, the chest is empty, but if you keep opening and closing the lid, it looks like it's talking.
Looks like it's talking. I think I've seen that one before, but I like it.
I think so, yeah. There was another one that I'm pretty sure was a repeat. It was like, did you hear about the girl who paid for everything with black sepith crystals? She said it was only costing her time.
I liked that one. I screenshotted it too.
Which is a cute joke, but I didn't like that joke after I'd spent so much time trying to grind for time sepith.
Oh no.
This episode, I'm like, that joke's in poor taste. After clearing through all the chests on the first 3 floors, up on the 4th floor, we run in to find Joshua passed out on the floor.
We're like, oh no, is he dead?
It's like, oh, crazy. Here's Joshua. He changed back into his old clothes and then passed out. That's interesting.
That's totally in character for him.
Yes. So he gets up. Estelle's ready to like fawn over him and be like, oh my god, I found you. It's been so long. Are you okay? I love you. Let's have a big feelings conversation.
Yeah, she's clearly worried about whatever's got him on the floor.
Yeah.
And Kevin's then like, back up. He catches that something's wrong.
And Josh stands up and does this cool little weird twitch thing.
Yeah, it's freaky.
And then his skin starts to change color.
Yes.
Until he's suddenly a pallid white.
It's a white man.
Oh my god, not another one. And then we get a text box from the black-haired doll, not Joshua speaking. And it's creepy because he's got this pure white face. His eyes are sort of detailless, got weird stripes to make it look like his face is made up of panels. He is clearly a robot. But he looks like Josh. He's got Josh's swords, and he just tried to take a swipe at Estelle.
Yeah.
So it is time to fight. Unfortunately, he has some friends.
2 more Joshuas jump out of the sky.
Yeah, it's time to fight 3 Robo-Joshes, who all have Joshua's moves.
And they have Josh's endgame kit from FC.
Yeah, they've got all of his crafts, so they can use
Black Fang
and all that crazy stuff, which makes it a kind of a challenging fight.
It was so hard for me. I had to use Kevin.
Really?
Kevin's S-Craft to protect everyone, because he was just one-shotting somebody otherwise. Either Estelle or Chloe. He would one-shot someone if I didn't have a protection up. And Kevin's S-Craft, if it's at 200 CP, you're fully guarded for 2 attacks, each character.
Oh, okay.
Which is very useful.
Yeah, I actually didn't use Kevin's S-Craft much in this chapter.
Huh. This is the only time I used it, but it was really useful.
I probably should have used it in that fight when I kept getting put down, but he was one of the people who kept getting put down.
Oh no.
I was just a little...
I used the break to get it in on time.
Because I'm usually such like an attack kind of RPG player.
Yeah.
I was a little bit stumped because I had 2 party members who had healing only S-Crafts.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to, you start a fight by just like clear cutting as much as you can with S-Crafts to kind of take out the fodder or whatever.
For a boss fight, sure.
But yeah, like both Kevin and Chloe in my party have healing S-Craft, so I wasn't using them as much. Didn't have anyone with Thalos, which was a point of frustration. But yeah, I was also struggling to have enough impede type moves with that party to kind of stop the Joshes.
Definitely had that. So many Joshes.
Managed to swing it between Estelle and Chloe. Yeah, Chloe has the impede, the boys don't.
She does.
But I didn't have as much trouble with this one. It was just Annalise who really wrecked my entire life.
Yeah, because Annalise was okay she was tough, but I wasn't struggling to keep people alive. But Joshua, I was like dying.
Yeah. Death Scream can only get you so far, I suppose.
Yeah, it depends. If Joshua's too fast for you to do anything, then what you gonna do?
That's true. But when we do finally dispatch the robots...
The robots.
We hear some more clapping and pan up to show that another room has been revealed and the professor is there.
Of course he is.
Clapping on his little throne with Ren and Loewe by his sides. And he's like, oh ho ho, good performance, ta ha ha.
We do, I think, ask, was it you who had the idea of like this is your trick or something? Like, it's a really sick trick, the whole fake Joshua thing. And then he gasses us. Also, Joshua, it's worth noting, the Joshua puppets, now that they're taken down, are body parts, like, strewn everywhere.
Yeah, just like Ren's dolls back at the harbor.
Yeah, like the Spops, like the fake Spops guys, but like it's obviously it was disturbing enough to see those guys when they were massive body parts. It's really disturbing to see Joshua as just like a bunch of like dismembered limbs, and then imagining Estelle seeing that, like that's got to be pretty traumatizing just to see.
Just layer some more trauma on top there, yeah. But we don't really have much of a chat with them. So before we can really get any more information about the professor or why he is who he is, he gasses the room and that's it.
And we all pass out and we're all dead. No, we're not all dead, but we do all pass out. Kevin notices there's no Estelle, runs out, and sees that Loewe is holding Estelle's unconscious body as the gang boards an airship, one of those society airships. And we're like, oh, well, fuck. Now they've kidnapped Estelle.
We've lost an Estelle. Who's going to be the party leader now?
Luckily, we follow Estelle, so we don't need to find a new party leader. Chloe does shout, Estelle! Into the air as the airship flies away, which is cute. And then Estelle has a nightmare where she sees Joshua at a distance, and they're just like, it's a black void behind them. And she starts walking towards him and then running and not getting any closer. And then Joshua says, that's enough, Estelle, it's okay. I was always just a broken puppet, and his limbs start to fall off. And then he goes, I can never go back to being human, and his head falls off. Estelle rushes forward and picks up his, like, disembodied head, and Joshua says, thank you. And, like, Estelle screams, no. It's, like, a really disturbing nightmare.
Creepy, yeah.
Like, it's freaky to watch, even with these little sprite things, like, and then Estelle wakes up to Ren, and Ren goes, wow, what a scream. I love Ren. And Estelle is on a bed and is like, oh, sorry, Ren. Wait, what? Ren? What? And jumps up, so she's standing up on this bed.
Combat ready. It's just like ready to fight. And then I love this shot. She goes and checks the window, and we do this wonderful pan out from the window to show that Estelle is on a huge airship.
Big fuck-ass airship. Like, enormous. And then it switches from just a shot of it to an anime cutscene of this airship. Like, it's not, like, if I'll send you the screenshots, like, it is not just, it's not like a graphical render or in engine. It's like, actually like an anime cutscene, but just the airship.
I didn't get this.
You didn't? Oh my god, is this new for the...
Unless... I have the option ticked in like my emulator thing to disable the intro movies. That might disable all movies.
Oh no. Okay, you gotta have to change that because there are some movies coming up.
Okay, cool. I will definitely change that.
There are some more things like this. But it's this anime cutscene of just panning over this whole giant fuck-ass airship. It's the biggest thing we've ever seen.
I don't think I got that because I got the very cool 3D rendered shot where they pull out from the window and show just the scale as the sprite of Estelle gets tiny and tiny. But I missed this cutscene, so hey.
That's so sad.
Here's a hot tip for anyone playing along out there. Learn from my mistake. If you're playing the Windows version and have the disable movies thing turned on so you don't have to watch the Falcom intro every time you boot up the game, turn it back on, because apparently we're missing stuff.
And you can click through the Falcom intro really fast. It does not last, like you can click through before it's finished.
It was like a momentary convenience, but if it's going to cut out story content? Fuck that. I will have to look up this cutscene on like a Let's Play or something so I can see the little moment that I missed.
The glory. The glory of the glorious. Now we know why it's called the glorious, because that shit was glorious.
It sure was.
And Ren says, welcome aboard the Crimson Ark, the glorious. It's our new base, she tells us.
Which I was stumped for a second because I had been reading that the research laboratory was their base before this. So it's like, we found your base and you immediately had abandoned it. Just cycling through bases as quickly as possible. This is a high money spend.
Beginning of, I think, last chapter, we were hearing that Campodella was going off to request the use of the Glorious. So I think they had already decided they were wrapping up what they needed the lab for, and now they wanted a mobile base. Right. So I think they were already making arrangements to arrange a new base, and we're in the process of making that move.
Okay.
Which Joshua predicted.
Good old Josh with his super science brain.
Mm-hmm. CSI Joshua.
But Ren tells us that the professor is waiting to meet us in the sanctuary. So we have to go to the sanctuary. Which
is a pretty room upstairs. And then we control Ren.
Yeah, we're piloting as Ren for now, which is interesting because she's leading Estelle. I don't really see why. They've not always done this.
I don't know. It's kind of cute, though, just to show like that that Ren's showing the way. It's just cute. Yeah. I don't know. I like being Ren, even if I can't do anything as Ren. I did rent a few rooms next door to grab some chests, even though I could have gone back and done that later. I did that now. And then I went up to this elevator, and I love that there are these giant maps next to the elevator showing you the layout of this place.
Yeah, because this place is huge, like beyond
really huge. Like, you can tell it's going to be a dungeon later after some story stuff.
And the fact that I tried to go in the opposite direction and Ren's like, teehee, silly me, that's not the way to the sanctuary. So there was a lot of directions I couldn't go yet.
Yes.
But we go up the elevator to the sanctuary, which is just this gargantuanly huge space with big society, like emblems, holograms, projecting in this huge space. And then for some goddamn reason, the world's biggest pipe organ.
So before that, Bryan is like, okay, he's waiting in the sanctuary at the end of the hall. And Estelle asks Ren if she was the one piloting the Joshua puppets back at the base.
Yes.
And Ren's like, yeah, that was me. Fun toys. And Estelle just goes, so you're a victim of the society too, with this really sad look in her eyes. I'm not exactly sure why this confirms something she didn't already know.
I think it's maybe like she was checking the difference between like Ren doing the puppets of her own parents and killing them. That's one thing. That's like shock value for others. But to like be so happy and comfortable in diving into what would ruin Estelle personally and then creating that as a doll and thinking that it's all a good time, that's where it's clear. It's like, okay, that's like beyond the pale, I suppose.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that tracks. Anyway, we got to go back. And then we get Mr. Weissman von Ganondorf himself playing this fuck-ass pipe organ that you mentioned. It is Ganondorf in Ocarina of Time, right? Like, isn't that when... That's when Ganon's playing the thing when you go to... At the last dungeon.
I think so.
Yeah, and he's just there playing the fucking organ as you walk up to... While Zelda's in the fucking crystal. That's him right now. It's such a big pipe. There, like, anything else on this ship, it is so big. I love it. It's so unnecessary and dramatic.
He was jealous of how far Joshua could broadcast with just that harmonica, so he's like, all right, hold my beer.
Insecure about his dick.
The Glorious is truly just a pipe organ delivery system.
It is. This thing is like the whole... Now, this is why it's so big. It's not because it has crazy weaponry or a bunch of rooms. It's because it has this pipe organ.
Yeah, so that he can fly across the entire country broadcasting his rendition of Wonderwall or whatever.
It is interesting that we're about to learn that Weissman was a member of the church before...
Yeah.
Which explains his fucking Pope outfit, but also the organ being... True. I mean, we don't know in Zemuria his, like, that the organ is a churchy thing, but here it very much is. So there's also kind of a... Is this meant to be like a fuck you to the church, that his organ's bigger and better?
It sure is. I don't know. It's so theatrical. He has his big Phantom of the Airship moment.
It's so good. I love it so much.
And then cuts off Meg's song. Also, I found it a little bit weird that when they cut it off, the track doesn't stop in the same way that they had like the custom MIDI for Estelle trying to play the harmonica back during the illusion times.
Yeah, no.
It just fades out and he stops playing. It's not like him stopping, so it's clearly a backtrack for something later.
Yeah, he's not playing it for real. Like, he's just pretending to be the one playing it.
Oh, it's a player piano?
Yeah, he's just faking it. He turns around and Estelle's like, quote, Professor Alba, I thought it was you. And we're like, oh, us we're players, because last we had heard, she didn't remember, but she has put it together the second she heard his voice, apparently. She put together who it was, got all her memories back, and has now put it together enough that she's like, that must be who it is. No shock reaction. She's so cool and composed here. Mm-hmm. It's like amazing. She's up a what, as we know in the remake, and now she's just so cool and composed. She's like, I'm not giving this bitch anything.
She has some moments in this chapter.
She's so
good.
But
yeah, we get a little bit of info on the professor. He decides to give us his bio.
Georg Weissman.
He really is an archaeologist, so that part of Professor Alba wasn't fake.
But he's not poor. He points out that the poverty was fake.
The poverty was fake, yeah.
He makes a point to let us know, I'm not one of the poors. I'm not a poor archaeologist. I'm just an archaeologist.
So he was an archaeologist. He did work for the church. And initially I thought maybe he was just like the organ player at a chapel.
He did say he picked it up at the church.
Yeah, was he just the old lady who played the organ at service on Sundays? No. Turns out he was like an archaeologist for the church, which sounds like he would have been part of the Gralsritter hunting down artifacts.
It sounds like that, but I'm not sure if that's what it means, because there's also a lot of other scholarly like aspects to the church, and he is from north of Liberl, not from east of Liberl, which is where the Gralsritter is based in the Holy City, which is to the east.
Okay.
But he does say, I might not be that Erebonian you spend so much time with, but I dare say I'm decent, wouldn't you? And for a second I thought he was saying that he used to, like, his fake persona was Erebonian, and then I realized he's saying, oh no, Olivia, he's mad that Olivier's a better musician than him.
Oh, see, I thought he was talking about Joshua, that Erebonian you hang out with who plays the harmonica. I guess either one works.
See, Estelle doesn't know that he's originally Erebonian by this point, so she has no idea where Joshua's originally from. I thought it was because Olivier plays the piano a lot.
Wait, did she not know he's from Hamel yet?
Not yet. No, we've only just heard the name of it, but we don't know that he's from it. We only just, this chapter, found out it was destroyed by a landslide.
Right.
If she knew he was from Hamel, she would have said, Joshua's home. Like, she had no idea.
Huh, okay, yeah.
She knows that, she's heard the name Hamel, she knows it's relevant to stuff, but she doesn't know it's Joshua's hometown.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. So, yeah, like, the read of it as Olivier makes sense 100%. I took it as a dig from him regardless.
That is possible.
Maybe that is just kind of a layered joke for him. He's like, oh, that Erebonian who loves music.
All these Erebonians love music, it seems.
Yeah, just like twisting the knife, like, I'm making a joke that you can't even get because you don't know him. You don't know my toy.
My boy.
So we get that little bit of information, but he won't tell us what the aureole is.
He also points out when Estelle's like, I want to take the aureole. You want to take the aureole, right? And he's like, well, I wouldn't say it like that, but for your purposes, sure. Like, he's vague about it, and then he's like everything he's vague about, and even though he says he'll answer all the questions. And then Estelle calls him out for it, which is great. She's like, I keep asking you things, and you keep dodging the answers. What the hell? Because
he basically answered her first question, and then not her second or third question.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm an open book, but you only get the sample chapter at the start, I guess.
Yeah. And then he's like, ask me the real question you have. And she's like, where's Joshua?
To which he says, I don't know.
Yeah, he's like, I can answer that. I can answer the question you really want to ask. And she's like, okay, here it is. And he's like, I don't know.
It's crazy. It's like, say it. Ask the question. I know you want to ask it. And he's like, try someone else.
Say it out loud. You're a vampire. The Twilight.
I was going to say, literally, because I've been watching a tabletop RPG based on Twilight at the moment. I'll link it in the show notes. It's really funny.
Right, you mentioned that.
It's called We Fixed Twilight.
Oh my gosh.
Where they're playing it. The way to fix the narrative is by playing it as a tabletop RPG based on D&D, kind of, where there's Edward, Bella, Jacob, and then a third romantic candidate, a Frankenstein, because that's how you fix Twilight. I bring that up because obviously there's a conversation in Twilight where he's like, say it. Say what you think I am.
Out loud.
And it's like if Edward said, go on, Bella, say it. And she said, vampire. And he was like, maybe.
I don't know. Can't confirm.
Could be. Yeah. So Weissman, despite portraying himself as this like all-knowing, all-seeing mastermind, he's like,
he doesn't know shit.
I'm an open book. I'll tell you anything, except for most of the things. Now ask the question you really want to ask, which I don't have an answer for.
It becomes clear that he really just wanted to ask it so he could rub salt in the wound about Joshua and, like, be an asshole about him. And starts talking about how when Joshua was entrusted to my care, his heart was akin to a glass ornament dashed against a paving stone. He was my first attempt at rebuilding such a shattered soul. Is it not natural, you think, for an academic to be curious about the result of his work?
Mm-hmm.
And Estelle is mad, let's say. And then Weissman is like, she's like, what did you say to him, like, when you saw him that day? And it's like, oh, I just thanked him for, his help and told him, I even told him he was free, And then he does let on the thing that I told him that he'd been acting as a spy when he was in your home, but I freed you. But you were the reason that the coup succeeded and that our plan could go ahead. And Estelle goes, well, now I get it. Now I get why he left and had that look on his face as he left. It's like everything is clicked for her. Estelle's like, I'm amazed you can even say any of this shit about how you don't know why he would leave and blah, blah, blah. You put him in this position. Of course he left after what you said to him. Basically, every last bit of it was all your fault. And she jumps forward and attacks him with her stick. And a wild Loewe appears and blocks the attack.
Yeah, just appears out of nowhere, blocks her attack. And then sort of like calls her out. And she's like, where did you come from? And he said, if you wanted to, you would have noticed me. She
goes, Loewe, the hell. And now this is twice she said hell recently. And Estelle doesn't swear much.
Mm.
And so I just noticed that she's swearing in this chapter more than she usually does. Like, hell is a mild word, but like, she doesn't usually swear, and especially not seriously. Like, if she's being, like, in a joke, more about, like, silly way, but rarely, like, the hell? She's big mad.
If she had a little more time away from Joshua before their reunion, she would have gone, like, full sailor mouth, and he would have just come back to, like, trash-talking, swearing woman who's like, I'm so fucking glad you're back, you cunt.
Yep.
And he'd be like, whoa, okay. I thought I was protecting you from the world.
Along with Loewe, all the other enforcers just, like, appear out from, like, they were hiding behind pillars, it looks like, which is really great.
So I love, everyone gets sort of a unique entrance in this moment. I made a note of it, because Blue Blanc and Walter step out from behind pillars.
Mm-hmm.
Luciola does, like, a cool mirage teleport in.
Yeah.
And then also Campanella teleports in with a different kind of teleport.
Later, yeah. And then Ren just walks in from behind.
And yeah, Ren just wanders in.
She's the same way that she kept wandering in and out when she was, like, making us all do a goose chase after her. She just kind of, like, wanders in behind Estelle. I love her. And Ren's quick to reassure Estelle, though, we're not here to hurt you. That's not what it is. And Weissman, just tell her already. I'm like, Ren is really, it's actually sweet and really sad how Ren is clearly really excited about this.
Yeah.
And not at all understanding what everyone else in the room is gathering about, the feelings going on here.
Mm.
Oh yeah, then Campanella's there, and Weissman invites her, Estelle, to join Ouroboros. And Estelle's like, sorry, I must have misheard you. Can you say that again?
The thing is, like, he's not even offering her an enforcer position. He's offering her an internship.
Yeah.
It's like, you can come in and be, like, a candidate to be an enforcer. So he's like, do you want to join the society for exposure?
As an unpaid intern for experience on your resume?
It's like, he's done this big dramatic thing of having all of the society show up for this meeting.
Yeah.
To have, like, their cool appearance and be like, do you want to have, like, a cool custom teleport like the rest of us? Or maybe a column you step out from behind of? Because you could do that here. Here's the perks. We don't know anything. We don't have any useful leads. You won't get any. Mira, you will not have a real job. Would you like to join? And then they're surprised when she's like, actually, nah.
Maybe I'll teach you to play the pipe organ. Isn't that all you want?
He explicitly says, like, oh, I'm offering you this job because it'll entice Joshua to come back.
Yeah.
It's like, you can find Joshua because if we hire you, he'll come back. So you are a pawn who won't get paid, won't get taught, won't get in a position of power, won't get a fun teleport. You won't even get to step out from behind a column. You'll have to stand in front of the column.
And also, the implication is that Estelle has a better chance of finding Joshua than the society does alone, because she's the only reason he would come to the society in the first place.
Yeah, she got here through following a series of leads and information to finding Joshua, that it's brought her to the society for them to make this job offer. When they can't offer anything, is like, would you like to have access to resources that are useless to you because we haven't gotten anywhere close as far as you? Like, we've got nothing on Joshua. And you have because you've, like, talked to some people.
Yeah, I think they mentioned that he's working with the Sky Bandits, and that's it.
That's it, yeah.
And it's like, yeah, Estelle already knew that.
We know. You don't even have a photo of him taking off.
Yeah. Weissman's like, well, you probably need time to think about it. Ren doesn't understand why Estelle isn't immediately saying yes. She's like, don't you want to wait? And Weissman, clearly more to calm Ren than anything, is like, she might need some time to think about it. Let's give her some time. Obviously, you can't move around the ship, though. We'll just put you in your room. So then we flash to Estelle in her room alone, and Estelle is sitting there thinking about the invite and thinking about maybe I pretend to join them so I can see Joshua again and get information on them.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be for real, right? And I could learn more about them. I'm not a great actress, but I can fake it. And then Estelle kind of stands up, walks to the window, and goes, no, that's stupid. That's not how I do things. And I love that they have it be that Estelle thinks about this. Like, it almost feels addressed to the players in some ways, because there's some people who would be like, she should just do it, and then, well, like, it'd be smart. And Estelle's, like, kind of addressing that criticism ahead of time, being like, I could do that, but I wouldn't be Estelle if I did that.
Yeah, I don't really have the skill set. I don't have the points in charisma to get by as, like, a double agent. So let's not do that one. At this point, when she's decided double agent isn't the way to go, Loewe shows up.
Yeah.
And he's basically following on from the meeting. He's saying, like, basically, you don't have what it takes to be in this society. Like, you don't have the skills, and you don't have the rotten heart that you need to have to be in the society. The darkness that follows you.
Yeah. Because he's the one who Joshua learned to edgelord from.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't get me wrong, it's somewhere inside you. I don't know where, but somewhere inside you, there is potential to become technically skilled, but you are not dark enough. You are not edgy enough. You are too well adjusted for this.
Yes, you are too bright for this society.
And Estelle is like, anyway, tell me about your relationship with Joshua.
Yeah, why was he so obsessed with you?
Yeah.
Basically, Loewe's explanation is that when Joshua had his memories locked, he knew about his own actions in the past. That's why he was able to have such an effective guilt complex. But the identities of the people in the society have been wiped. So similar to how Estelle could remember everything in the day Joshua vanished, except for the professor's face and what they talked about, he's sort of got this notion that there were other people, but he can't really remember them. So it's kind of that itching sensation in the back of his brain, wanting to ID Loewe, and why he feels familiar is why he was chasing him. Not because he could remember all of it, and he's like, that's my pseudo-brother or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just that the hanging thread kind of drew him in, which I don't know if that's true, but it makes sense. It feels like there was more to it.
Yeah, I think he remembered a little more than Loewe's given credit for. But I think it's more like he remembers Loewe, but he doesn't remember everything around Loewe. So it's kind of a loose memory that, like, I imagine, well, we'll learn some of their connection in a minute. But Estelle basically asks, like, what happened to you guys? What happened to his sister? How did she die? Because he mentions that Joshua knew his sister. And she goes, I didn't even know Joshua had a sister. Tell me what happened to her. Tell me what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, we get to this because, like, Loewe says that's why he can't remember anything from society or his childhood with me and Karen. And that's why Estelle's like, okay, so explain the relationship. Who's Karen?
Who the fuck Karen is?
I remember that name. Why do I know that name? And she can remember it because it's the fake name that Josh used to be a maid at the castle. But she doesn't have the context that it's his sister or that he has a sister. So Loewe's like, all right, story time. Cut to the sepia tone illustrations. So
it just starts with some art of a younger Loewe, what's a young Joshua, and a woman with long hair also in this. And it's that kind of old-timey art style that we get for, like, flashback pictures.
Yeah.
And he says, Hamel was a tiny little place. There weren't many other young people, so the three of us were always together. I dreamed of becoming a bracer, and I spent my free time practicing my swordsmanship. Karen and Joshua would watch and encourage me. That was how we whiled away the days.
Which then cuts to new art of Karen playing the harmonica. Once I was done with practice, we would turn our ears to Karen's harmonica. Karen could play anything on that harmonica. Anything. But my favourite was always the old Erebonian folk song, The Whereabouts of Light. It seemed like that bliss would last forever. We believed that. We had no reason to doubt it.
And then the screen goes black. He says, that day dawned and began just like any other. And then they came. And then the screen changes to this red-tinted art, like notably red-tinted, of a village with armed men. There's, like, dead bodies around it. And there's either a lot of smoke coming out of chimneys or the buildings are on fire. And he says, a band of invaders, garbed in black and armed with Liberalian weaponry, came from nowhere. They encircled the village and slaughtered everyone in sight. None were spared. Not the old and infirm, not the young and defenseless, not even infants. Those who were killed quickly in the opening moments were the luckiest by far. And the women, even in this telling, there are some things I will not recount. Yeah.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah. Realistic,
Oof.
unfortunately, but horrifying.
Yes, I appreciate the phrasing there because it's clear enough that if you understand, you understand.
Without being exploitative. It's not like misery porn.
Yes, if you're someone younger or someone without context who might not make that connection, it just sounds ominous and it doesn't have to be a lot.
Yeah.
But we cut to new art of the three of them running away.
Mm-hmm.
We fled desperately from that hell. We were lucky to be in a position to escape when the attack began. We fled for the outskirts of the village, the screams of our own families carried to our ears on the wind. Once we'd gotten to the outskirts, I told Karen and Joshua I would act as bait to confuse any pursuers. I promised them I would catch up to them soon and sent them ahead. And we cut to a black screen, which says, but the attackers, they had laid their plans well. They had people in position to deal with any who tried to flee.
Now we get this kind of scrolling art where there's clearly two images that are like, one is scrolling on from the right and one from the left until they like lock into place. And you end up with a man pointing a gun at Karen and Joshua's like hid a little behind Karen. And then he says, when I'd finally caught up to them, the scene was strangely quiet. A man dead, shot through the throat. Joshua with a gun in his hand, dumbstruck, and Karen holding Joshua with a horrific wound in her back. She was barely breathing at that point. And then we get this art of Karen, and it's like a vignette that's oval-shaped, like someone's eye. And Karen is holding out the harmonica to the person looking, and it seems that Loewe is holding her, so it looks like it's Joshua's point of view.
Yeah. Even now, the scene seems surreal to me. Karen was calm and content. She entrusted her harmonica to Joshua, then asked that I take care of him. And then she died quietly there in that clearing.
So Estelle's kind of stammering back in the present now, going, why on, what, why did that? And Loewe explains that the army invaded Liberl almost immediately after, that it was almost too perfect an excuse to attack because these men had Liberlian weapons who attacked. And Estelle's like trying to figure out, she's like, how could, like, there's no way Liberlians did that. And Loewe says that when the local garrison found them, everyone was insisting that these had to be Liberlians, but by the time the war ended, they had a whole different story, that instead they said, a bunch of dropout Jaegers turned to just being like brigands and told us to never speak to anyone of the attack, and the authorities said that there was a landslide and all the roads leading to Hamel were totally shut off. And so I was going, hold on, what? Why would they lie about that? Neither explanation makes sense. That's almost like... And you can see in real time Estelle figuring out this is a false flag operation. There was a faction of Warhawks in the Empire that did all this to incite a war against the Burl. And then when the rest of the Empire found out, they panicked, executed everyone involved, hushed it up, and made a peace with the Burl as quickly as possible.
Oof.
And that, Estelle Bright, is the tragedy of Hamel in full. Whew.
Yes. Before we move on, just with these illustrations, I did want to point out a couple of things.
Oh, yes, please go.
Slightly a lighter touch on the situation. I do like that shot where they have the composite of Joshua and Karen, and then the attacker sliding into view.
It's really well done.
For visualization, imagine how the Pokemon trainers slide into frame in battles in the old Pokemon games.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly like that. That's a great comparison. I was like, this is familiar, but what is it? But
it's all done in the sepia tone, and they're cutouts in the art, so it looks like the same sort of static art we've been seeing, but they're getting more dynamic with it, which is really fun.
It is.
It's unfortunate that it has to happen in such a dark scene for the first time, but I did want to call it out. Also, the very first piece of art, when it's them in the happy times, hanging out, it took me a minute to understand what was happening with Joshua in that artwork, because he's sitting under a tree next to Karen, and it looks like he's got like a big print of a dog face on his shirt. Like I thought he was wearing a t-shirt with just like a very childlike, here's a face of a dog print. But he's actually holding a dog in his arms.
Oh yeah, who's the dog? Yeah.
So looking at that art, I initially thought that Joshua was wearing like a little crop top t-shirt with a dog face on it. Not realizing that that's his arms supporting the dog under him. Because it looks like he's wearing a little shirt with a bow tie and a dog print on it.
Yeah, that kind of does.
Just a very sweet little moment for the start of a much less sweet cutscene.
He looks so happy. He's never smiled that big in the game.
Yeah, like in one of the other arts when Karen's playing harmonica, he's like kicking his little legs in the air, laying on his stomach. It's a carefree Joshua we've never seen. But that is the story of Hamel told, but we're not done.
No, because Loewe explains that Joshua's heart was broken entirely, using the same phrase Joshua always uses, by this. He was burdened with the torturous death of his sister, his parents, and everyone he knew, and even the shock of taking a man's life. How could that not shatter the soul of a 6-year-old child? So, in case we haven't been doing the math, he was 6 when all this went down, which is fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
you've heard the rest from Joshua. You know, he was so, like, mentally shattered by this that he wasn't eating, wasn't sleeping. All he would do was play that harmonica. I eventually entrusted him to Weissman to save his life. And because Weissman said he could help him. And then I threw myself into training for Ouroboros. And 2 years later, Joshua showed up and became an Ouroboros enforcer. So he didn't even see Joshua for, like, the 2 years that Weissman was doing whatever the fuck he was doing to him. Which is also terrifying to think about.
Yeah.
And Loewe's like, this is darkness, Estelle, right? Do you understand what kind of gulf separates you and Joshua? Do you understand what he stares into every day? And Estelle's like, yeah, now I do, yeah. Now I get why Joshua left. And Loewe's clearly not expecting this to be her response. Like, I think Loewe's clearly thinking, like, this is gonna be the wedge between them where Estelle gives up on him, that realize that, like, he's been through too much darkness, like, he's too far away from the world she knows. And Estelle's like, hey, next time to see Weissman, tell him thanks, but no thanks. I'm not going to join the society. It's not even about how I feel about the society, but if I'm going to pull Joshua back over the gulf you mentioned into the light, I can't be part of the society for that. I just feel bad about letting Ren down, so, do you think she'll forgive me for that? And Loewe is just shell-shocked by this. He starts laughing at her. He's like, how only you could hear all of those horrors and just all your hesitation disappear. Anyone else would be filled with hesitation after that. And you're just like, no, now I feel confident and assured of myself.
Locked in.
And Estelle's like, well, thanks. You're saying all that, but you care about Joshua too. And Loewe denies this. He's like, this was all 10 years ago. Estelle's like, you were basically brothers. And he's like, nope, that was all 10 years ago. Now I don't care about anything. He's just something to be eliminated now. The professor lets him do as he pleases, but I'm planning to eliminate him soon. Estelle's like, what the fuck? Karen, who you clearly care a lot about, her dying wish was you to take care of Joshua. What the hell? And Loewe's like, I've got my own path that I've chosen for myself. I've dedicated myself to my goal. No, everyone who stands in my way shall die to my blade. Not even Karen's final request will stop me. Before we can follow up on this, we look out the window. Because all the airships are headed out. Because everyone except Loewe is headed off to get started on the next phase of the plan.
Yep. So 5 little airships jet off.
I love that they all need a different airship. They can't just take one airship together, even though...
No carpooling.
Obviously, we know they would fit. They're too extra.
This is an anti-carpool society.
Yeah.
This was also the scene where you see them flying by. Another one of those ones that had been shot for like a square screen that had been expanded.
Yeah.
Except this time there was no sort of overlay to tell me where the edge of the picture should be. So what I watched was 5 airships just fly past and then directly through the back of the Glorious.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're not very good pilots. But it was fine because that was just off the side of the 4:3 screen.
Amazing.
Just a fun shot. But yeah.
But yeah, Loewe leaves now, and he's like, we're going to entrust you to the care of your father when we're done with everything.
Yes.
Which isn't clear when their finish is going to be. Is that when their whole plan is done? They're going to keep her out of the way and we get rid of her dad? Because Cassius will probably survive whatever's going to happen because he's Cassius Bright? Or is that like when they get back from their trip?
And what kind of condition will Estelle be in? Are they going to mind wipe her a bunch to block all this out or what?
Yeah, yikes.
But once he leaves, I love that Estelle, she's just kind of like wandering back and forth in her room for a minute. She sort of does a lap, she's sort of investigating everything, and then she's just like, all right, why not? Let's do it. And decides on a plan.
Let's escape. Gotta wait a couple hours, though.
We cut to like the shift change for the guard outside her door, and they're just like joking. He's like, oh yeah, she's been quiet as a mouse, haha, she's so scared. And then they start hearing like a cracking, banging noise from inside, and go, what the fuck is that? They come through to find that the window has been smashed and Estelle is gone. And so they're like, well shit, Loewe's gonna kill us. Leonhardt. They would never be so base as to call him Loewe.
Because now she's dead. She is in a fucking airship.
It's like she jumped out of the airship, which means she's dead. Whoops, we can't explain that. And then refers to her as damn brat, and then she's like, hey, don't call me that. And swings in from outside the window, from above outside the window.
Where she was like clearly positioned, yeah.
Yeah, like does a full thing, like swing kicks into one of the guys, does a bunch of sick-ass moves bouncing around the room, dodging bullets, until she's able to crack the guy so hard with her stick, agate style, that he flies 3 meters up into the air and hits the wall.
It's so good. Which doesn't knock him out. It only knocks out one of the guys. The other one is awake a little longer, so she has to crack his skull again.
Yeah, I really like this scene though, because she's like...
It's so cool.
She goes to tell him off for calling her a brat, and he's like, that wasn't me, that was the other guy. And she's like, oh, shit, was it? Okay.
Well, you didn't correct him.
Well, yeah, you didn't correct him, so whatever, bonk.
I love it.
It's so grounded, like she's had this badass moment of planning and executing a great escape.
Yeah, a really good plan.
Combat 1v2, and then she has a cool line and it doesn't work out, and she's like, oh, yeah, whatever. Just like, bonks him on the head with her stick and moves on.
And then we are loose in the airship.
We are loose. So mostly it's just running around fighting more archaisms and getting hit by a lot of like blockage barriers.
And finding chests. Yeah, you have to keep going back and forth to different hallways.
And I love it because like the first few times that you run into one of these barricades, they're like these pillars that pop up out of the ground and electrify so you can't get past. The first time she's like, what the hell? And then after like 3 times she's like, God damn it, not again. Like she very quickly tires of these barriers.
Yeah.
After wandering around the ship for a while, you do eventually find your way up onto the deck, where you go to cross the deck and go down into another section of the ship, only to be cornered by some of these enhanced Jaegers.
Yeah.
Who will corner you sort of between the 2 entrances, and then their commander or whatever wanders up and is like, you're not getting away from me this time, brat. Everyone's calling her brat today. And removes his helmet to say, you recognize me, don't you?
Yes.
And then you get a BP prompt to decide whether or not you do remember him.
And one of the one that's so tempting is the 4th Capua sibling, because he has the same hair color.
It's like the 4th Capua sibling, or like, who are you?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, the Mayor Dalmore's...
Sexy Terry.
She still doesn't remember him by name. She's like, oh, you were Dalmore's something or other, right?
Yeah. And he's so offended. He's like, you don't even remember the people you've put in jail? She's like, I'm a bracer. Like, I stopped a coup. I arrested, like, an entire army.
I punch a lot of idiots. Yeah.
You're not special. The thing I do remember is how you screamed like a little girl.
Yep.
When you got roughed up at that lighthouse by the special ops guys, and she goes into detail. She's like, do you really think you're cut out for combat? Your scream was, like, all high-pitched, and Gilbert is so fucking, like, embarrassed. And then he's like, no, we must go for it. And the other enhanced Jaeger guys around are like, just let him do it. Like, what? Like, they clearly think he's ridiculous, too.
Yeah, let him have this.
And then you get into a fight. It's like 6v1. And I death screamed the shit out of them and took them out in 2 turns. I felt so good.
It was pretty good, yeah. I smashed him quite quickly as well. It is challenging to have, like, a 1-person party, but it's Gilbert. He's not strong enough to really pose a challenge. But yeah, I love that he's just like, he gave up on being Dalmore's boy toy and immediately started simping for the society.
Yeah, truly. But then they have like some sort of reset button basically where they like push past whatever their exhaustion and like be filled with strength again. Yeah,
they pop their 5-hour energy shot and they're ready to go.
It's like, great, I have an EP charge, I can take that and then death scream you all, it'll be great. But then another Jaeger comes up and is like, sorry, I'm here to assist.
Love this, yeah.
Gilbert's like, we don't need your assistance, but you can watch and enjoy the show. And he's like, sorry, I wasn't talking to you. And pulls out 2 knives!
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah! It's so hype! Ah!
I agree. He's like, I'm here to help, but I'm not here to help you. 2 swords. Slish, slash, slish. Everyone's dead.
The move, Black Fang, the S-Crafts. Everybody. Takes them all out.
So he slashes down the generic soldiers, leaving Gilbert, and then he just like insults Gilbert again. He's like, yeah, you're not really cut out for this. Doesn't slash him, just like smacks him.
Yeah.
Knocks him out. And Gilbert's most memorable line is the sound he makes as he falls to the ground, which is blorf.
Amazing.
And that is the end of Gilbert for now.
For now. He takes off his helmet, and they exchange a few words. And black-haired boy tells Estelle that she might be a full bracer, but she's still a total loose cannon, and tries to scold her. What were you going to do fighting them all by yourself? She's so excited. She's blushed, and she goes, this isn't a dream, is it? And he's like, it would be better if it was a dream, actually. But reality's not so convenient. And that's when Loewe walks up.
I roll.
And it's like, hey, I was just talking about killing you, buddy.
I will highlight the little animation of Joshua's helmet when he removes it is one of my favorites.
It's so good.
He pulls off the helmet, he throws it to the side, it has a full animation of it bouncing and rolling, including the little like neck blanket bit fluttering. Yeah, I just love this little animation that the helmet lands, the little neck thing flutters and everything. It's beautifully animated for something that's a single, literal throwaway animation.
Yeah.
But we then have to deal with Loewe, who's been like, and he has this cool line when Joshua's like trying to face up against him. He says, what do you think a fang can do against the Blade Lord?
Yeah. And he's like, the problem with stealth is that as soon as you give yourself away, you lose your only advantage as soon as you're discovered.
Yeah.
But then he does scold Joshua a bit. He's like, why would you leave Estelle when you clearly care this much about her? If you wish to protect someone, protect them. If you want to cut them from your life, do it completely. I taught you to be thorough, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Josh was like, yes, that was the first lesson you taught me after Weissman was done tuning me. Quote around tuning. Loewe says, if she means that much to you, you should have stayed by her side, even if you were tormented by guilt or whatever. The fact that you didn't is just another form of escapism. It's nothing but deceit.
Yeah.
And Joshua's like, I know that, Loewe. I know what you're trying to tell me. Joshua turns it around on him and is like, sure, but what about you? Like, this was my burden. You joined the society. Why are you going by the Blade Lord and all that? Why are you still working with Weissman? Which is a great call out. They both have this relationship with Weissman that we talked about with Autumn, too. Like, Loewe's clearly not comfortable around Weissman.
Yeah.
And Josh was calling about him. Why are you still working with him? And Loewe's saying the cooperation with him has nothing to do with you. Basically, he says, it's not about getting revenge for Karen, because petty revenge wouldn't make a difference. Instead, I want to put humanity to the test to see if her death was worth it. Which is a weird idea.
Yeah. I thought this was going to be leading into like a revival thing, but I guess not.
No. I think it's like, I want to test if humanity is even worthy of living. A humanity that was able to do something so terrible like what happened to Karen.
Yeah.
And then Loewe's like, well, you have 3 options now. You and the girl, because he keeps calling her the girl, even though he called her Estelle Bright all the time to her face.
Yeah.
Like, you and the girl both surrender, you protect the girl and you die, or you abandon the girl, escape by yourself. Josh was like, I'm sorry, but I'll be taking option 4. And apparently he's fiddled with the orbital engines a bit. There's like 20 engines, and he has done something different to every single one.
I love that, yeah.
Only Ren, Weissman, and Loewe would be able to deal with it. And 2 of those are not on the ship, so Loewe has to go and fix every single engine individually.
He says, the professor or Ren could fix this easily. You might be able to. Because, yeah, he's literally just gone through all 24 engines and, like, fiddled with the knobs a little bit at random.
Yeah. So this thing's gonna hit the ocean floor if you don't deal with it.
Yeah, so go deal with that.
And it sounds like, could you maybe warn me? Now, Loewe says to Joshua, you really are a magician, which is a very interesting line given what magician has been used as before. But he's impressed that Joshua got into the engine room because he needs authorization for it. But Joshua found his way through anyway. Mm-hmm. And Loewe's like, yeah, well done. And he goes off. And Estelle and Joshua are left alone, and Estelle starts to talk, and Joshua's basically like, we can talk later, we have to get off the ship right now. And Estelle's like, yeah, you're right. And Joshua has done a quick change in the time it took to go from cutscene to gameplay, because now he's in his scarf outfit, and you're controlling him.
Once we're running around in the ship, there's not much to say about running around the dungeon. It's a maze, it's a lot about finding cut-off hallways and double backs and finding some chests.
It's really nice to have Joshua in the party. I'm not even doing much combat. It's just fun to have him. I missed him so much, and he's so strong. He's like so much stronger, and he was already so strong last game. Like it's just really good.
But yeah, he's like a full 7 or 8 levels ahead. My Estelle was 65. He was 72, 73. So he can one-shot a lot of enemies that Estelle can't. At least until I got a new weapon for her halfway through the dungeon, which kind of evened them up a bit. But eventually we make it down to the hangars, where Joshua has sequestered an airship ready to be the escape craft.
Yeah, this hangar's so big, it can have up to 12 smaller vessels.
3 huge rooms that can each hold 4 of those little red society airships, which are like a full-size airship. So this place is gargantuan. Mm-hmm. His is all the way at the very back, because of course it is. So we run to the third bank of hangars and run into Campanella.
Of course we do.
Who's here ready to just stir some shit.
Fuck shit up.
He does call out that he's heard rumors that Joshua likes to cross-dress.
Yes.
Oh, you've got that sour face on, but I've heard you like to enjoy a good romp in a dress every now and then. Perhaps I could introduce you to some cosmetics. Because Joshua calls out that, like, you were a baby when I last saw you years ago, and you're still the same.
You look exactly the same. He's like, my daily skincare is important to me or something. And then we're like, so Estelle's like, okay, clearly you want to fight us, so just fight us already. And Kevin's like, oh, I'm not here to fight you. I just wanted to make your story more spicy, so here's an archaism for you to fight. And
then he sends in an Apache helicopter.
Yeah, he goes, the pale Apache flying orbital puppet, says Joshua. He's like, I didn't think those were active yet. And then we fight it, and we win. It's like, fine.
It's a slow battle, like a lot of these archaisms. It's just like chipping away at it, basically.
Yeah, because they don't have any weaknesses.
Eventually, though, it's dead.
And then Campanella does his disappearing magic, and Estelle's like, what the fuck? And Josh was like, it's just a trick he knows, don't worry about it.
Yeah, get used to seeing people teleport, Estelle.
Yep, and then we hear that there's people who are clearly catching up with us, and so we rush onto the airship. Josh was like, lock the door, I'm gonna get this thing started. He starts it up, tells Estelle to sit. They sit in the things. Joshua can pilot airships, it turns out.
There was a bit of a fake out here because, like, I was looking at the scene and I was like, oh, he's going to have to, like, fly through the hangar to, like, the exit door, whatever. Like the Millennium Falcon taking off in, like, a spaceport or whatever. But no, the floor just drops out and it's a drop start airship.
He's just falling, and Estelle's like, what the fuck, we're falling? He's like, we'll fix it in a minute. It's fine.
Yeah, which means that basically he pressed the go button and then immediately had to hit the up button on the airship controls as hard as he could so that they wouldn't hit terminal velocity and also the ground.
Yeah. He's still got the, like, no light in his eyes thing for what anyone's worth. And then he's like, we're getting followed. And he's like, yeah, there's no armaments on this airship. And Estelle's like, what the fuck? Why would you pick it then? And he's like, well, it was kind of an emergency. I didn't have time to be picky, and this one had the least security. And Estelle's taken by this. She's like, oh, it was emergency. You don't mean the fact I was caught on the Glorious? That you had to change your whole plan because of me? Josh was like, nah, enough. We have other things to do. Like, I'm not talking about this. He just dismisses it. But it's, like, definitely clear that he was, like, lost his shit when he realized Estelle was kidnapped and changed his whole plan.
We do get a fun little sky battle here.
Because we get some assistance.
Yes, so initially we're being chased by 3 other society ships who do have working guns.
Yes.
And they're trying to sort of pinpoint us, sort of coming from sort of a spread to shoot us to kind of knock us out of the air. One of the ships actually like ducks below the cloud cover and vanishes while the other 2 sort of hound us, only to come up later from an angle and sort of shoot crossways to really sort of pin us. It's all very cool, again with very basic 3D models available to them. They're like shooting missiles at the ship and everything, and then at the last minute the Capua sweep in the Bobcat and take down one of the ships entirely, and then radio in to help so that they can split the remaining 2 airships between them to try and make a getaway. Because she's like, hey Joshua, it's Gisette, stop trying to get yourself killed. Can you handle 1 airship? And he's like, yeah, 1's easy. And so he's like, all right, wicked.
I love how he's like, I only know a little bit about how to pilot an airship, just the basics, but like he's doing these like super maneuvers. Like, okay, Joshua. Crazy
maneuvers, yeah. We don't really get to see any more of the chase. We just sort of cut to later on when they are away.
Before we cut, though, we get a great line where Estelle's like, yeah, I guess the Capuas aren't so bad.
Oh, yeah.
And Josh was like, I wasn't expecting they would come back. I had just seen us as 2 parties bound by a contract, but I suppose relationships between people aren't that simple. Which, again, is the thesis of this chapter.
Yeah.
See, I like it. I really like these lines where it reminds me of, that's what it reminds me of. So there's this part in the show The Vampire Diaries. I don't know if you ever watched it back in the day. I was obsessed with it. But anyway, there's a whole thing where vampires can kind of turn off their humanity, basically. Like, shut out all their humanity and just, like, kill people and not feel anything. And one character who supposedly just never has her humanity, is just, like, always, like, no humanity mode, does something really kind for someone. And they're like, what, you don't have humanity. What are you doing? And she goes, yeah, I keep trying to shut out the humanity, but sometimes it just kind of creeps back in anyway. It sort of reminds me of this in a way. It's like you can try to be the shutout edgelord, but you can't shut it out. You just can't shut out people. You can't shut out human connection, no matter how edgelord and lone wolf you want to be. And Estelle's like, that's just how people act. People aren't just like contractual pawns acting in their own self-interest the way that capitalism is supposed to be. It's no, like people are more complicated than that. And then Joshua goes into a dramatic monologue about how people are supposed to act was never clear in the world I lived in. Kill or be killed, take or be taken from. Until I met you, my life was an endless cycle of such simplicity. And then he talks about how after his heart was shattered, he always uses this term, my memories of Hamel were no longer my own. And he says he does clearly remember his sister's death. The man swatted me away and forced my sister to the ground. At the time, I was too young to know what he probably meant to do. All I knew was he was hurting my sister and I had a bad feeling, so I grabbed onto the man's back. He got swatted away, but he grabs the gun and shoots the guy. He thinks about it. Did I have a talent for killing people back then? Because I'd never been taught how, but I still removed the safety and pulled the trigger with no hesitation. The man fell over, spewing blood from his mouth, looking confused. But he managed to stagger to his feet grab a knife and stagger towards Joshua. Joshua just closed his eyes, wrapped up in a ball, but instead he felt a warm embrace, and it was his sister holding him and getting stabbed instead.
Yeah.
Josh was like, but I remember it all like it happened to someone else. Like it's a story I was told. Like it's a twinge at my heart. I'm not really attached to it. And it's like, Joshua, you're disassociating. This is not because you're a broken, like fundamentally wrong human. This is because this is a coping mechanism. You have PTSD, Joshua. Like it's okay. And Estelle later on in the chapter calls out like, people do this. This is not a unique phenomenon to you.
Yeah.
This is a common PTSD thing. Talks about his relationship with Estelle a bit too, that he did feel happiness, but it always felt kind of distant, and that his real self was feeling this distance the whole time deep inside.
Yeah, it's just, he like does this aside as he's like, yeah, oh, I can't remember my childhood and the stuff that happened to my sister. It's like a distant memory that happened to someone else, just like my time with you.
And he's like, I remember everything in specific detail, but I don't feel like an emotional connection to it. And it's like, that's really common with trauma, that people block out the emotions that are connected with the events.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means you're coping with something that is unbearable to cope with. I don't mean to say it in a trite way, because obviously it's sad that this is common. Trauma is an awful, difficult thing, but it's not a unique thing that makes you uniquely broken. And I think that's kind of the point that Estelle's making here. Trauma makes you feel disconnected from all the people around you, but you are not unlike anyone else because of the way you experience trauma. It's part of what makes you human.
Exactly, yeah, like PTSD or depression or anything like that. Like, the first instinct it drives is isolate yourself. You are alone. That is the thing. And to continue the metaphor, Joshua's out here posting his live journal for all the world to see, saying, like, no one understands how I feel. But if he browsed to any other live journal, he would see people having the exact same experience and be like,
unfortunately, they don't have the orbital net yet, or else we might have avoided all this.
Damn. I can't wait to browse to www.livejournal.org.
That's that then.
So they land the airship.
We land on Gull Seaside Way.
I love that it's a place that we know. Like, it's a real spot.
I recognized it immediately because it's that coastline where there's the hidden bit that I couldn't find the first time around.
Yeah.
That had like where the treasure was for the hunt for Hoosy's treasure. But yeah, like they just land the airship in the ocean.
I don't think it's intended as a landing there, like, because they later are like, Joshua can't fly the airship again. Like, I think the airship is shut down or has been, like, damaged.
It's great because, like, they land, they puts out the boarding ramp and everything, and it's basically just them walking into, like, nipple-high water.
Yeah.
But they get out onto the beach, and Joshua's immediately, like, lone wolfing it, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go off and do my own thing.
Like, this is goodbye. He's like, I was a little happy to see you, but that's all. We should never see each other again. Being with someone like me will never be good for you, and you'll be a burden to me.
And Estelle is just like, we have reached my breaking point. Absolutely not.
She just tells him you're a bad liar, which is so funny because Joshua thinks he's an amazing liar. And Estelle's like, you're actually a shit liar if you know you.
And it's funny because, like, he's been putting on this grimdark persona. It's like, oh, I am most beleaguered. I have had the most tragic outcoming. And obviously, yes, he's been through some tragic stuff. But then it's like, no one knows how I feel. No one can understand how I feel or why I do the things I do. And Estelle's saying, no, everyone can understand that. And he's like, oh, but I'm so dark and mysterious. He's like, no, you're not. You're just shell-shocked.
You're traumatized. Yeah, and shell-shocked. You have PTSD, and I'm here for you. She goes, Joshua, listen, I've seen and heard a lot since you left, and now I understand the reason you left. The real reason, the one you haven't even admitted to yourself. And Joshua's like, and she's like, you can't bear to be with me because your heart's broken? You feel like being with me is someone else's story that you can never ever have? And come on, I'll be a bad influence on you or you'll hold me back? What? That's all a bunch of lies. Every single one, especially that last one. And Joshua's like, they aren't lies. And Joshua goes, no, look, Joshua, really, listen. I understand now. You're really
scared.
It's so good. Just saying it like that. And Joshua's like, what? And so you think it's your fault that your sister died and you'd never forgive yourself if something happened to me. That's why you ran away from me that night. Everything else was just pinned on afterwards. Everything else was you're justifying, explaining to yourself why you did that because you didn't understand why you did it. And Josh was like, haha, that's ridiculous. Weissman's conditioning left me incapable of feeling fear. He took away my ability to feel it so that I wouldn't hesitate during an operation. You're a little off target, I'm afraid. And it sounds like, no, darn it. I'm not talking about something that's superficial. Joshua, you said you can't help but feel like your sister's death happened to someone else, right? Do you know why that is? And Josh was like, of course, it's because I'm a broken wreck of a human being. And Estelle says a line I'm sure that Matt loves. Nuh-uh, no, wrongo. We aren't letting self-pity get in the way here. She goes, Joshua, you don't want to remember how awful it was when your sister died, how you blame yourself for it. So unconsciously, you've been trying to think of it as someone else's problem to get away from it. A lot of people do that. Josh was like, in really big font, and his mouth is open like he's shouting. She goes, and on that ship, don't tell me you weren't afraid there. I mean, it was a lot of work just to sneak on board, right? But you didn't hesitate to help me escape, almost as if you were trying to get me away from danger as fast as you possibly could. Danger you were afraid of. You weren't a broken wreck, Joshua. You're just scared, mostly because you care for people so much it breaks your heart, and you're lying to yourself about it. That's how I see it, and I know I'm right. Oh, it's so good.
Yes. And this whole time I've been watching Joshua's face in his portraits. I'm just like, his eyes are still glassy. We don't have the sparkle back in them yet. I'm just like, when is it going to break through? And he's like, why can you...
He's turned away from Estelle now.
Have you forgotten, Buster? I'm LaBelle's #1 Joshua watcher. Now that I know all about your past too, I'm the biggest authority on Joshua Astray in the world. I know more than Weissman or Loewe even. And then I love this little poem that she gives him.
Yeah.
She says, Joshua scared and Joshua brave, Joshua lying and Joshua honest. My beloved Joshua. I finally found you, Joshua. I finally reached you.
And she approaches and hugs him from behind here.
Yes, his second behind hug of the chapter.
And he hangs his head.
But I need to say this. I don't want to just be one more person you feel like you have to protect. As long as I'm a bracer, I can't stay away from danger. That's not going to change even if you leave again. It's what I have to do to be who I am. And so, let's make a promise. He's like, a promise? As though he's never heard of a promise before. Let's go forward together from now on and protect each other equally. I'm strong enough to be able to cover your back now, Joshua. And if you're at my side, there's nothing I can't beat. No matter what kind of crazy nonsense the society throws at me, I won't die. So, you don't need to be afraid for me anymore. I promise.
And Joshua kind of croaks out, Estelle, and then he has tears in his eyes, and I couldn't tell if the light was back in his eyes or just the tears.
It is just the tears. I hyper-focused on that, Don't worry.
His sprite raises a hand to his eyes and, like, dabs at them a bit, and is like, why? How? I haven't been able to cry since Karen died. I could never even shed tears as an act, but now... And Estelle's like, oh, it's okay. And the screen all fades to black, and she goes, no one's looking. Cry as long as you want, and I'll just hold you like this. And I love that as she says, no one's looking, they actually cut to black so that nobody is like no viewers are seeing him break down. But the implication is that he breaks down crying.
And I love that they hold the black screen for a few extra seconds and just have the sound of the waves on the beach.
Yeah,
so
it's good.
It's so quiet. It just tells you that, this wasn't necessarily a minute. This could have been like an hour, just sort of standing here waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut back and they're feeling a bit better. Joshua's a little bit calmer. And I was so excited because Estelle's like, oh, by the way, you should have this back. And pulls out the harmonica and says, this is your only memento of Karen, right? You can't be just like throwing it around willy-nilly. You need to take care of this. As she hands it back to him.
Yes.
The sparkle returns to his eyes.
Yes, that's when I noted it down, but I was like, did I miss it because of the tears or whatever? So I was so glad that I was right, because that's when I was looking for it too. But I count on you for the visual things.
I teared up at this moment because it's like, as soon as he has his connection to Karen again, that's when he becomes human.
It's so good. It's so fucking good. And it's like sealing away your past. And this harmonica represents, like, for a time, this is when he was broken, or as he called himself, when all he could do was play the harmonica and not eating or sleeping or anything else. And, like, it's now getting back to, like, there's a representation of a healing of what this harmonica used to represent to him and what it represents to him now. It was, like, a vehicle of his grief and depression before, and now it is a connection to his humanity.
Same for, like, Estelle has to reframe it as well. Like, she's always treasured his harmonica and his music, but now she has, like, a reverence for the instrument that she didn't before because, like, there's so much behind the harmonica.
Yeah, because the harmonica beats slapping.
I love in this chat, like, Estelle's... At first, she's, like, apologizing that she got in the way of his plan, whatever he was planning to do on the airship, on the Glorious. She's like, I'm sorry... Kind of sorry I interrupted your plan, that you had to, like, pivot and save me. Joshua's just like, kind of, oh, yeah, I didn't get to blow up the whole airship. And she's like, you were just gonna blow it up and kill everybody? Like, everyone on the ship and I guess wherever it landed?
And she's like, if Weissman and Loewe, there's a decent chance they would have survived anyway.
Exactly. Like, at least half of the people you want to kill could teleport. And she's just like, man, in that case, you know what? I'm glad that I got in the plane. Because if your plan was just to nuke the ship, that was dumb. So I'm glad that you didn't get to do it, fool. Another
thing is, before that, Estelle asks what Karen was like. And Joshua describes her as, friendly and kind and really dignified. And she and Loewe were like a perfect couple. And whatever explains it. And Estelle's like, oh, so she was like Chloe. And Josh was like, oh, yeah, kind of, actually. That's a really good comparison. And it's just kind of a cute moment where they're like, this is Chloe. And Estelle's like, right. And speaking of Chloe, and also everyone else we know, you're going to have so much fucking, like, apologizing and groveling to do when we get back. Do you know how much you worried everybody in our lives? But then he's like, Estelle, I don't. And Estelle's like, if you say something like, oh, I don't have the right to go back, I'm just going to drag you back by the hair. And she's like, whatever, who cares? You're a Weissman spy. You didn't know. You only helped the bandits to try and stop the society. Just tell Dad about the society's plans and it'll make it even. That's what they call a plea bargain, right? And Joshua's like, that's not quite how a plea bargain works. It's like FC Joshua peeping his head in.
Yeah.
Like, he can't help go back to the, like, dynamic a bit, even though he's trying to be, like, not. It's good.
And then Estelle pivots. She's like, and speaking of the Capuas, did you kiss that bitch?
Yeah.
He's like, what? I love her line. It's just like, question, answer, give.
Yeah. And he's like, no, that's not our relationship.
And this is where, like, boss girl Estelle comes out. Like, she's been a leader for the last 6 chapters of this game.
Yeah.
And now it's time to get that energy because she's like, so I demand a do-over of our first kiss now.
Yeah. Because you ruined the first one, so you have to take responsibility.
Now, the first kiss is really important to a girl, so you've got to give it to me. And he's like, the lady get what she wants.
And it's so cute. Like, her sprite closes its eyes and tilts her head up. And it's like clasps her hands behind her back, waiting for a kiss. Like, the way they do it is so freaking cute.
Yeah.
And Joshua has a blushy face as he thinks to himself that he does owe her a kiss. And he kisses her.
Mwah.
And then...
Can we hear, hey, Joshua? The Capuas show up. And they're like, hey, looks like you're okay, Joshua. That's great. The invite's still open if you want to join us, but you don't have to. And Estelle and Gisette call each other dykes a few times. Mm-hmm. And Joshua confirms he's going to be traveling with Estelle. Gisette's like, okay, fine. And kind of huffs back into the ship, but she's still clearly glad he's okay, even if she's disappointed.
She kind of leaves with a parting remark of like, if you ever get tired of your old lady, come find me.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Josh was like, you realize how big of a fight we've picked. Like, this is going to be the hardest thing we've ever done. So I was like, yeah. And Joshua says, I promise I won't ever run from reality again. I will walk with you until the very end. And Estelle goes, I promise too, to the very end.
I will walk with you to the very end. What a line. And then, chapter 6, the whereabouts of bonds end.
And now we know whereabouts those bonds are. They're back together.
Back in our party.
Yes.
With Josh's cool outfit that I love. I actually do like this outfit a lot.
It's great. That scarf is so dramatic. I love it.
It's going to be so fun in second chapter remake because now when you're running around, it's not just Estelle who'll get to have like a cool dramatic trail behind her with pigtails. Joshua will get one too.
Trail, haha. Yeah, Joshua's floating scarf can be, that'll be great.
But goodness, what a chapter that was.
What a chapter. And so next week, the plan is to play all of chapter 7.
A whole chapter again? What?
Yeah, that's the plan.
My goodness.
My gosh.
But this week we will be doing the one chapter in 1 week. We won't take as long of a break as we did last time, right? We don't need a break again?
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Trails to Trails. As always, you can find us on the Orbital Net, on Blue Sky and Twitter and Instagram, but Blue Sky is the best place. At TrailsPod on the TWG Discord, or you can send us an email at trailsthroughtrails@gmail.com. We are a proud member of the Worst Garbage Online podcast network, and we got to do our chest message. So let's see what we get this time.
As with every week, we like to crack open a chest and see which show has been highlighted at the bottom. This week's chapter, I can't talk today. What the fuck?
You've just done 3 hours of talking, to be fair.
I'm having a really slow aneurysm.
Oh no.
So let me crack open the chest and we'll see who is the winner today. Mm-hmm. Who gets to win being talked about by us. Also, I would like to highlight that I've noticed a couple of other shows on the network have started doing there's too many, let's just talk about one show thing.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed Video Game Podtimism did it on their most recent episode. There's so many shows. Like, it's a challenge to remember them all.
Yes.
So let's just pull one at random and talk about them.
Yes, that's right. I did notice that.
And today, for Trails Through Trails, that random show is Can't Let It Go.
Can't Let It Go. It's a audio LAN party. I was almost called a PowerPoint party and then realized they call it a LAN party. But it's Matt and AC. Other Matt and AC. all the gay mats in TWG community know.
Gay.
It's the other one, the American one.
So Can't Let It Go are a few episodes into their 4th season already, which is insane.
It's many seasons.
So 3 episodes into season 4. The second episode was a particular banger for me. It was about the new Superman movie, which I really liked.
Oh, yes. I love that movie. Oh, right. And they had last year, this is almost, it's like 6 or 7 months ago now. They had a really long episode going over the history of the song Bridge Over Troubled Water and like different renditions and versions. And I just thought it was really cool. So I wanted to shout that out.
So plenty of interesting fixations, the focuses of various episodes across Can't Let It Go's 4 seasons. We will catch up soon. Just give us a minute. But if you want to find something interesting to become fixated over or be reinforced for something you're already fixated over, check out Can't Let It Go.
Do it.
But with that,
And
I will close the chest once again.
ta-da! And that'll be all from us for now. As I said before, we're playing Chapter 7 for next week. So join us. Get prepared to use some orbital arts and tread some trails. You'll be doing a lot of that. It's going to be great. We have Joshua. We're going to have so much fun doing combat now that Joshua's back.
Hell yes.
Definitely make sure you turn on movies before you finish next chapter.
Yes, that is the to-do list item for all players like me who may have been shooting themselves in the foot.
I believe it is before the end of Chapter 7 that you're really going to want to have it.
All right, good to know. I will do that.
Until next time, I've been Lex.
And I've been Matt.
And we'll catch you next time on the trail. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
TWG, the worst garbage, online.